Hey, VOD viewers, give me a minute. I'm just doing the announcements. Twitch viewers, streaming C++. So just hit formatting help for the first time on Steam. I've never clicked that. Alright, what's this? Managing moderators can support your channel in more ways. Thanks, YouTube. Please default to live chat and not top chat. I don't need an AI to filter my YouTube comment. Alright. Where are we? Let me think. So... Last Awake. Oh yeah, we were working on this, Hey, Small. We were working on, like, this rocket launcher thing last time, right? I had a few comments I wrote. Can you hear the music okay? I tried increasing the volume a bit, because you guys said you couldn't hear it last time. Oh dear. I'm pooped. I'm so tired. Let's just do some little things. Music's good. Great. I hope you guys like Minecraft Volume Alpha, but in SM64 sound font. Anyway, at the end of last stream, I think I noticed the rocket launcher was sometimes going off-piste, and it's because it's meant to do that. It's random. And then I had like a question. I don't know how you guys feel about this one way or another. Right now, when you shoot a bullet, this is a gun. This is 100% accurate. And then if it goes off... Okay, thanks, Lindley. If it goes off at the very start, like that. I had a thought where you could actually make the bullet curve, like, over time. But I don't know if that would be annoying versus just doing this. Because if it went over time, it would at least look like it's shooting out of the front of the gun. Whereas right now, when you shoot a rocket launcher and it goes off, it just looks like it's randomly firing up like this. And obviously we can clamp it to a smaller value, which I may indeed do. But regardless, currently when it's random, you know, let's say it's a bit more small. You know, what's the difference between this and this? This is currently what it would like, and let's say like the red line here would be a perfect shot. Currently it does this this blue line, but I was talking about what do you feel about like this green line where it goes over time. It's a thing with real IRL guns, they curve over a kilometer. Is it because a bullet spin or something? Because my assumption is a bullet would indeed have like a bit on it. But I'm just mean from like a gameplay perspective. Let me show you what I mean. It's an extreme example. Also, hello, Yachi? You see this rocket launcher? It should go directly on my crosshair here. Can you? Oh, you got paint in the way. Hang on. See this rocket launcher? It should go straight up my crosshair, right? But I've added random spreads, so occasionally it'll go off to the side. Obviously, I think with the rocket launcher, it makes more sense for it to be a bit more accurate, because it should be shooting really quick. Rockets are rockets, right? But this is an extreme example. If this were to curve instead, do you think that would feel better or worse? With rockets, it kind of makes sense inherently for them to curve a bit, just because they have like a little rocket on the back, right? This is paint. This is what I mean, by the way. So right now it's doing this blue thing. This line. You think it would feel any different if it was the great... If I did this, by the way, I'd have to rewrite some stuff. Like, bullets right now do not have a movement over time element. That being said, we did write that in WoHo 1. You just apply every you know, physics update, whatever. You just apply a constant modifier. So you have a starting velocity, and then you add a constant offset, which would do that curve. You think it should be vibrating because it's going in a straight line? I mean, yeah, that's polish. The vibrating thing would be a polish. It's just a thought. Hey everyone, hi Dana, hey DFZero. You feel like understanding the spread of your weapon is a lot clearer than your bullet randomly flying off in a direction. So I mean, I mentioned before, right? Maybe even in this README. I moved stuff to the README, by the way. I thought maybe some of the guns should have a like an actual bullet pattern. So if, for example, you had an AK or whatever, and it had like a consistent sine wave, obviously not like this, but you know, it would shoot one bullet straight and then one down and then one up and whatever. The idea being that like you could over time learn the bullet pattern. I may do that. But that was just going to be like a couple of guns. We're going to have like a repeatable pattern that you compensate for. I think it would be annoying to have that for every gun because it would. I think it would be a pain in the ass. I'm not pro enough at physics to comment. It's not necessarily about physics, but it's what do you feel vibe-wise? It's trivial for me to add a movement over time component to bullets. It's absolutely trivial. It's quite. I mean, we did it in Woho 1. You know, that should say something. Hello, Ted. Isaac Wiggleworm. Yeah, I mean, I think let's be real here. I'm not going to implement anything crazy fancy right now. It's the start. It's the start of content creation. We haven't even gotten like the basics down yet. Let's leave the fancy guns like Wiggleworm or whatever away. I'm just asking what you think. Have a separate RMG for the gun and reset the CD you haven't shot for a while. Yeah, I'm not asking how I'd implement it, Donut. Don't worry. I'm just saying that I would. I think from a gameplay perspective, not even necessarily just having it be like a random spread that you predict, but I mean literally having the bullets go like like a sprinkler in the garden. You know how sprinklers go like up and down? Like I think there could be a gun with a pattern like a sprinkler, where you know to control that spray you just move your cursor up and down slowly, and you might learn that. Just an idea. It's just an idea. I think you could you not see that? I was just showing paint. Maybe you can't see it. Whatever. I was drawing sprinklers. Doesn't matter. In Isaac, your tears are offset based on which eye you shoot them out of. What do you mean a lot of people don't know this? You literally see them shoot out of your left and right, don't you? Like in Isaac, if you're facing down, I'm pretty sure you literally see a tear going like this and this and this and this, don't you? Hello, Lord Scary. I'm quite tired, but I'm okay. And then on the right, you see them coming from here and then here, something like that. Whatever. Isaac tears also have like a Z position, right? They go up and down and stuff. Using M dashes now to see if you can appear to be AI. I'll be honest, you talk like a academic sometimes, so I just read the M dash as an M dash. Don't worry, I'm not talking about specifics. I'm just making conversation. Let's just knock through some easy things for now because I'm quite tired. I just wanted to get some stuff done quickly. It's been a few days since we've streamed programming anyway, so I thought this could be fun. So there's a few things we need to fix. I noticed at the end of the other stream that the rocket launcher was odd, so I think the spread's just way too high. So just before I go too far, let's go to weapon, let's go to rocket launcher, and then let's just knock that spread down to something small. Doesn't matter. If it a snack or water. Actually, I mean that would have been smart having like a protein bar. I've got water next to me. I've got a tea. It's just been a long day. That's all. Academic background foils your plan. Yeah, I miss M dashes and saying sentences properly, but it's alright. My typing like an idiot thing now actually makes me seem authentic, so you get it. You woke up at 3 AM, bloody hell, mate. Alright. Enemies currently shoot way too bloody fast. So the enemies are currently shooting a revolver, and it like always hits you. So I'm kind of thinking maybe the enemies when they shoot a gun should have like a modifier on it that makes them shoot it a little slower, because the enemies right now use the predicted aim type. And they always hit you with a revolver. Look at this little guy. When it was quick. If you keep moving in a constant direction, they will hit you because of how the predicted aim thing works. So you're meant to dodge sort of stupidly. I think this might make it too difficult. Maybe that's fine. I don't know. Anywho, that was just one thing. I'm just cracking through my to-do list, basically. Should they have a modifier regarding how often they shoot / how the bullet speed works? Alright, so I wanted to make weapon swap work. Maybe we can work on that today. That sounds not too difficult. Oh, actually, it's a really easy one. So right now, enemies are aimed at your crosshair. Just because we lazily implemented bullets. Not by lazily, I mean we just implemented weapons consistently for the player, and it just so happened that when the enemy has a bullet, when the enemy has a weapon, it's reusing the draw function that was previously only being called for the player, because only the player had a weapon in the past. That's why the enemy's gun is facing the crosshair, because only the player had guns. But we can fix that now, so it actually aims at the target. You're trying to understand programming and coding, and you're sure if you're trying to actively code, it could be exhausting. Oh yeah, it can be snoozy. You're poisoned by writing papers in LaTeX and writing documents for uni. You've been busy, Lindley. You've been streaming Rust, haven't you? Right now you're trying to understand why buttons like blah blah blah, and your brain hurts when you cannot find the answer. What do you mean? Oh, you're asking about like what that syntax and stuff means. If you're interested in learning programming, there's plenty of online guides you could follow. You could try a few tutorials, give it a try. Maybe you're already doing that. Okay, let's have a look. So in the actor render actor system, somewhere in here we're getting a weapon. Here we go. So if there's a predicted firing weapon on the entity, it's this chunk in here. Currently it's aiming directly at the crosshair. So I think we need to have a separate one for player and for enemy. Let's see. Weapon disabled, weapon data, sprite difference. Okay, so this is the important bit. This is the start position. And this is the start position, this is the end position technically. Otherwise, I think the rest of this can be copied. So what I'm going to say is say start pos const auto start position. Let's call it start position, right? It doesn't have to be. Oh, let's see actually. Registry dot all of. I hope you can still hear the Minecraft music. It's a little quiet. So if there is a enemy behavior on there, then we want... this might be annoying to do on a one-liner. Let's do it like this, just so it's clear. Let's say if... even we can use the try get behavior here, actually. Whoops. So if there's an enemy behavior... Sorry if I seem like I'm typing like an idiot. It's because I am. So if there's an enemy behavior on that entity, then start position can be enemy behavior dot target transform. What's wrong? Oh, I'm missing one of these. Target. So his target, I think, was an entity, right? Let's say if this and enemy behavior target isn't equal to null, entity null. What's wrong? Cannot be declared. Cannot appear in its own initializer. Okay, how about this then? You know what? Let's keep things easy. Actually, what do you normally give? A pointer? Hang on a moment. This trigger usually gives you a pointer, right? Okay, you know what? I'm overcomplicating things. Let's just keep it simple. Now we need to get the transform from there. Something like this. Oops. Something like this. Transform in this case is a transform, it should be dot position. So the idea here being, by default we point at the mouse. If it turns out that the entity we're trying to draw is an enemy, we check to see if they have a target. If they do have a target, I mean this might be a null pointer error, we should fix this in a second. But if they do have a target, then point at the target. Otherwise, just difference is 0, you know, point off to the right, whatever. Let's have a look. You guys have been writing stuff. That's how Factoria's splitters predict, and it's easily dodgeable by spamming opposite directions. Yeah. Semicolon followed by the... yeah, okay. Sorry, I haven't been reading the chat. None of that makes sense. You've been streaming Rust. You're implementing OAuth 2 flow for your YouTube live chat client. That's fun. I remember doing OAuth. It's a pain in the ass. Minecraft music's good. Alright. Oh, good night, Lindley. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck with the Rust as well. Let's see. So if the target isn't equal to null, let's say const auto transform equals this. If transform. Now this is messy, okay? But you write it first and then you fix it, okay? This is the base logic, at least. Oh, this is annoying. Target transform. Something like this. Let's see how we can fix this. So... You can do a semicolon followed by blah blah and. So we can do this. So that expands one set of brackets. Oops. So if the enemy behavior exists, and it has a target, then try to get the transform from the target. Can I... You can't do multiple line... You can, right? You can do multi... Well, actually... I was going to say, can I shove this target transform thing up on the line above? I know you can't have two auto blah blah blahs in an if conditional, but maybe you can using this style syntax. I mean, in fact, basically this syntax using a registry view. Maybe we could use that. But ideally we have it in that order. I think this is okay. Maybe? I don't like this duplication. Multiple declarations in the same is tricky unless they're the same type. Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible, but it would make it harder to read. So let's say if we can put this in line now, I think. Can we do this? A little neater. I think this is okay. There's a small amount of duplication. We could resolve that by saying we start by default with this. Like that. And then we remove these. Well, no, actually, hang on a moment, because I want it to be if it's a player. Hang on a moment. This won't quite do what I want it to do. Let's think for a second. Let's default with the player thing. Registry.all of player entity. Start position equals this. And then otherwise we default to this transformed opposition like this. And that way we can get away with this. Oops. So let's see. By default, we are pointing at ourselves, meaning a difference of 0, meaning that it just points off to the side. Who cares? If there's a... Oh, yeah, else, sorry. If the entity is a player, then actually point at the mouse. If it's not a player, try to get the enemy behavior, try to validate that it has a target, and... what do we think? Try and get the transform from the target and then set it to that. So it's a bit conditional. The idea here being, I think the enemies will just be pointing their gun to like the right or something, unless they see the player, at which point they should be shooting at the player. Let's see if that's true. So he is tracking me now. My mouse cursor isn't impacting him. If I move pretty far away... Oh, he's pathing over. Hang on, he's very smart. Let's find one that's not... Oh, shit. That's not right. Interesting. I thought that difference thing should be working. Hey, my thought was like, maybe we... Actually, hang on. Is he moving... I'm being shot at. Are they aiming the gun in the direction they're moving? That might make sense. Oh, we're not using the get draw position. We should probably be using that, right? Silly of me. I knew we had to do something. Let's fix that quickly. That's why it wasn't actually zeroing out. That makes sense. So start off by getting this. And we're going to use that anyway. So I'm just going to say const auto end position equals this. And now we can just reuse that in a few places. We can pop it here. And we can pop it here. And instead of end position, I can even call it transform position. And start position, I can call it target position. Multiple declaration, same for the default position. Sorry, what are you saying? Okay, well, whatever. So you fixed it so NVM. Okay. Let's see. So we default to the transform position. Get mouse position we've already decided works fine. We only update it if there's a target. And then what I might say is I actually kind of want different behavior for if it has a target or not. I'm thinking that we can somehow... We can just calculate the direction they're moving in and point the gun that way. If they're still, that won't work very well. But if they're moving, you can just do the difference between their start and end position. Their previous position and their current position. I guess we could always store that angle of the gun somewhere, which we discussed before. Let's see. So he's just aiming his gun off to the right. He's not doing anything with it. We could also hide the gun. But now the idea is if we pop up, boom, he now aims at you. The bullets obviously are not coming out the end of it. That's because the shooting system that he's using is different. The player, which was something else we needed to do. But the idea is correct. How threatening do you find it that the mice are like holding guns in your direction? Pretty threatening, right? Yeah, look, we tightened the spread a bit on the rocket launcher. It's a little bit more sensible now. Pretty threatening, right? Oh shit, they're going crazy. Man, these mice are absolutely insane. If I turn off the debug view, this is really how it would more look. He appears to be not aiming at me anymore. Weird. Hang on a moment, why is that? Wait, why are they defaulting to shooting at me? No, they're not. Hang on, why were these guys defaulting to shooting at me? They should be aiming at the predicted position if you're moving. Yeah, let's not worry about the details on that. Like, yeah, that's definitely true. I need to refactor quite a lot of stuff to get that working, so let's not worry too much. I'll need to store, like, the aim position or something, so let's not worry about that for now. Just having them point the gun at you for now will do the job. But I'll make a note of that. I'm just wondering why they seem to sometimes not... Why they weren't working there. You see what I... Like, earlier, I swear they were pointing a gun, like, just off to the right. You're aiming. You're aiming. Maybe I'm losing it. Did you not see that bug as well? Alright, anyway, somewhere I think in the render actor system I'm flipping it, right? I was thinking I could maybe use whatever logic I'm using there to flip it to this thing. No. The actual sprite itself. This thing. No. I could use that to angle it when there's no target. This isn't it. Let's see. Scale. Sprite.flip. When was this being defined again? Because maybe I can actually just make use of that. That might work. This is in animation system. Oh, okay. Oh, actually, the weapon does have a last bullet fired position. Maybe I should be using that. Hang on a moment. Oh, we should be fixing this thing, by the way, where you moonwalk forwards. We reverse the animation if the bullet... incorrectly sometimes, I should say, sorry. Let me show you what I mean. So, when you walk normally, your animation plays as expected. When you're shooting and walking backwards, it like reverses your animation, so it looks like you're stepping backwards. That's intended. But when you're walking forwards and shooting, it seems to still flip it for some reason. Which it shouldn't. See? So clearly the only logic check we're doing is like, are you shooting to the right? And not like which direction are you moving. So we could maybe fix that as well. Yeah, we're only flipping it based on the device's position. We're not basing it on the top thing. This thing here. We should be doing this. Sprite.reverse animation. Oh, okay. Let me think for a second. Check out your game, little guy. I'll have a look. I don't know about little guy. I can have a quick look. Let's see. YouTube.com. I know that URL. Language: C++. Rendering Raylib networking. Yoy. That's cool. You've been busy, haven't you? Think Arena. This is really quite impressive. I'll give you a like. Nice work, dude. That's looking great. Are you encoding the ambassador skill ceiling into your custom projectile engine logic while playing Apex Legends? Fucking robots, dude. Alright. Let's see. If they have a weapon and it's not disabled, we don't just want to take this into account. We only want to flip it. The weapon last fired position .x is larger than the transform position .x, and our previous position is... Now, this angle is going to be... This decision is a little strange. We want this, and like we want to, and the previous, and like we're moving, and this. Okay, I don't actually know the logic right now. I'm just writing the space to put the logic in. So, God, this is going to be stupid. Hang on, let me extract this. Const auto moving right equals whatever, moving left equals this thing. Well, moving left will be if the last position is to your right. So that should be this way. And shoot, this will be shooting, right? The compiler should what's the word? Optimize this. Shooting left. And then shooting right. I think this is right. It's possible I'm inverted. Oh, remember exclusive OR. There's also logic operators and balls. Yeah, there's definitely an exclusive OR operation on this. I just need to think. I'm quite tired. I'm struggling. I was at my Dutch lessons and I could not fucking follow. Headshots. Yeah, I was thinking how that would work. 1 megabyte client. 0.5 MB server. Super proud of moving and shooting circles. Hell yeah, dude. Is this with no game engine? Not really, no, Mario. I'm using a framework that Donuts developed to handle graphics. So SDL2 is under the hood, but I'm not calling SDL2 functions directly. I'm calling libdonuts renderPass.draw, for example. And also the tick and looping system is from his framework too. This stuff. Actually, is it? No, never mind. That's from here. Whatever. It's a very good framework. I'd recommend looking at it. But yeah, this is just VS Code project. Anyway, let me think. So the base logic I'm thinking is if we are we only want to flip the sprite if you're shooting right and moving left, I think. Is this right? Maybe I'm full of shit. Or you are shooting left and moving right. Is that correct? Hello. Is it possible to make a game completely out of just C++? Yeah, that's what we got here. This is just C++. Is this... reverse animation equals true? Like, I need to maybe like draw like a table or something for this. Ideally, let me think actually. You only want to flip the sprite. Hang on a moment. Bloody hell. How does this look? So what have I created? Have I created anything of intangible benefit right now? Is it? Okay, she's just... when you're just moving, it looks normal. When you're shooting... it's not correct. What's the game about? It's just like a bullet hell arcade shooter style thing. That's all. Yeah, I need to make like a fucking table. So my idea right now, can you see my paint? You can't see my paint. There's logic graphs for this. This is why you take discrete maths at university, so you can forget all of this. I have a player sprite that's looking to the right, okay? And I have a gun. That's doesn't matter really. So when there's no gun involved, the movement's very simple. We simply flip the sprite if you're moving left. That's all. Okay? Don't insult operator precedent. That's easy. Like when you're looking left or you're looking right, you flip true. So we can make a table somehow. I don't really know what shape the table's going to be. Maybe like this. So let's say flip and reverse. And then we want look. We need a fucking 3D chart. Hang on, this isn't going to make sense. So the idea is, keep brackets for clarity. I like the brackets for clarity. When you are moving to the right, and shooting to the right, then flip should be false, and reverse should be false. Okay? And likewise, if you're looking to the left, and you are shooting to the left, then those should be true. Actually, hang on. Reverse shouldn't be true because you should be moving. Yeah, okay, that's correct. This is so far true. If you are, what's the main game loop? There's not really a gameplay loop right now. We're still making the game. The idea is going to be you go through the level and you kill monsters and you get guns and upgrades and then you go to the next level and so on and so forth. And there'll be more interesting gameplay elements like, you know, you'll have an objective you need to complete before moving on, or a boss you need to defeat. But it's mostly just meant to be sort of like arcade, fast-paced arcade fun sort of thing. Let me think. Sorry. We also are going to have the case where we are moving backwards. So we're moving to the left, but we're shooting to the right. And likewise, we're going to have a situation where we are moving to the right and we're shooting to the left. How's the game, like how the game progresses? I think I described it pretty well. If we are moving to the left and shooting to the right, then we reverse it, but don't flip it. Likewise, if we are moving to the left, if we're moving to the right, the eye is confusing. The eye should be where you're moving. If we're moving to the right and shooting to the left, then we don't want to flip it. But we do want to reverse it. So I guess actually the logic's quite simple. Hello, Percy. Ooh. I think this is actually what keeps the game progressing beyond the main concept. Could you explain again? I don't think you quite caught that. So I wanted to... Let me explain, actually. We had some very basic logic in place where if you're shooting your gun, it reverses the drawing animation. Because the idea was, if you are running backwards, your animation should be reverted. So it looks like you're running backwards. I was just trying to work out the logic behind that and extract it. You think the exclamation mark is inverted on flip is inverted on the last two? No, yeah, that's correct. If you're walking to the left, you should be flipped, and if you're walking to the right, it shouldn't be flipped. So actually, flip is tied to movement direction, and reverse is tied to... How is the gun controlled? It's a long question. The gun is controlled when you left click. That's the simplest solution. We have a lot of... I can show you the systems in a moment, if that's okay. It will be easier for me to explain with just showing you how it works. If this is correct, so flip is purely based on motion, and reverse is based on if they don't line up, if they're the opposite. So flip is purely if moving left. No, that's not right. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Flip is moving left. That's simple. And reverse is if your moving and shooting don't match. So that would be moving left and shooting right. And I'm going to use my brackets because it makes it legible. Or we are moving right and shooting left. I think that's correct. Fuck, I put that in the wrong place. I'm so sorry. Give me just a second. So I think that's correct. And this is in the case you have a gun. Is the gun pull 360 with the mouse? Yeah, sorry. I'll show you. I just have a lot of stuff in my mind right now. So yeah, you have a gun, you aim around like this. Pew, 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 and you shoot a bullet and it goes towards your cursor. Well, it doesn't actually go towards your cursor. It predicts... Okay, there's bullet spread as well, which makes this hard to explain. But it predicts the angle that it needs to take from where you currently are to your target to hit your target. So it doesn't actually go towards your cursor, except it does go towards your cursor. It's a little complex, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't just draw a line to your mouse, if that makes sense. I can show you the logic for that in a second. But you can see these mice are shooting me off screen because they take into account your velocity. So you can see he's actually, if I go up and down, you can see he's actually trying to shoot me where I'm moving to. But yeah, the other stream we were trying to put together a rocket launcher. That's why this is a big rocket launcher. Here we go. Yeah, it's good Minecraft music. Anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't check if the moving made sense. So this animation looks correct. She's running forwards. And now if I'm shooting my gun, it's incorrect. It's literally the wait, is it? Hang on. Yeah, what? Why is it so awful? Hang on. Yeah, this is just incorrect. Whatever we've done here is completely wrong. The only thing that works truly is moving to the left. That's working correct. Walking to the right should not be inverted. Oh, this time we're shooting to the right and we're walking to the right. So why is it doing that? Reverse animation is if you are moving right and shooting left. Well, that must be incorrect then. Bullet last fire position. Oh, hang on, I misunderstood what we had here. Got to edit the other two cases. Yeah, this stuff I've not touched. This is true. Bob. Okay. Moving left isn't equal to shooting left. But then what do you do in the case of standing still is the problem, because standing still is the case that I guess I can extract this stuff above the weapon and then reuse it, right? This is little jank, isn't it? Whoops, sorry. The standing still is true if the other two are false, so moving right and moving left, and then we invert both of those. Now, in the case that you're shooting directly up or down, I kind of don't care, so I'm just going to do an equals larger than on one of these, larger than or equal to, I guess. You two can be going down here, that's just okay. So let's see. If we are moving left, or if we are moving right. So, we're moving left, we flip it, we don't reverse it. We're moving right, we don't flip it, we don't reverse it. If we're shooting, standing still is more like not moving horizontally because you could be moving up or down. Okay, whatever. What does the auto function do, like const auto? In C++, you can use auto to allow the compiler to decide what type this variable would be. That's the simple explanation. So this is obviously a bool. This is a boolean, but to simplify things, you can make it a auto, and by making it a constant, you're signaling that it's not immutable, so you can't change it. If I try and do standing still equals false later, I'll get a compiler warning saying you can't assign to a constant. It's basically a way of saying this is the final version of what this will be. And this is purely for legibility. We're just doing this up here to make it easier for us to understand the logic. The compiler at the end of the day should probably inline a lot of this stuff. I'm sure it'll simplify it. Not moving horizontally. There you go. So if it's not moving horizontally, we just don't change anything at all. We're just assuming that it's whatever your last position was correct. So if you move left and then stop, technically the game, you were just moving left, so you still expect yourself to be looking left. That makes sense. Why don't we just use auto? Why does everything else exist? Well, there is a saying, always use auto. And then there's also almost always use auto. And then almost always use have a sound. There's certain places you can't use auto, but indeed, I mean, auto is very useful. You can use it an awful lot. Just not always. If you're defining, if I have a class somewhere, let's say this class, and I want to give it a member variable called counter, you really want to say uint32t or something. You want to be specific here. I don't even know if you can use auto here. I think it's upset. You're not allowed it in a non-static class member. Yeah, I don't even know what I would do. It can be useful for memory management, not using auto. What do you mean? Useful for memory management? Is sugar for whatever type this should be? Yeah, it's just sugar. Everything would be a template and your compile type would explode. That's true, that's true. Right. Anywho, this was not what I wanted to work on today, really. Unfortunately, it's what I am working on now. So, if we have a weapon, and the weapon is shooting, then we can define if we're shooting to the left or to the right. The idea is actually inverted here. So if we're shooting left, the weapon's position should be less than our x. If we're shooting right, it should be larger than. So I misread this as previous position and current position. It's not that. This is where the bullet is and where the enemy or the player is. So whatever. So flip should just be if it's moving left. And reverse animation, you only want to reverse it if you're moving left and shooting to the right, or you're moving right and shooting left. If you're not moving horizontally, I feel like I don't give a hoot. Let's see. What's one piece of advice for someone who's trying to learn programming? Make mistakes. Make lots of mistakes and learn from them. Don't be upset when you haven't made the perfect thing first try. It's perfectly valid to just have a go at something and learn from your mistakes. I think all the stuff I know is because I did a terrible version of it first, found out how shit it was, and then learned a better solution. Don't start with perfect, because you'll never get perfect. That's all. So right now she's clearly not actually shooting. She's not aiming at her where she's shooting, which she should be. Hang on, I'm gonna give myself a better gun. Give me a second. Entity factory. Spawn player. Spawn character. Right now it's got a rocket launcher. I'm just gonna give myself a Uzi, so I can deal with these things a bit better. If you do a cin, you can change if the variable is int or string in auto. I don't think so. I think you have to use a concrete type for that. That's what Donut wrote, right? Okay, this Uzi is not quite Uziing. It's a bit slow. I should fix that. Also looks like it's shooting bubbles. That's weird. Anyway, so it's flipping incorrectly when I'm shooting, and when I'm moving to the right and shooting to the left, it shouldn't be flipping. When I'm moving to the left and shooting to the right, okay, it's just not flipping correctly. It's only flipping correctly once. That's very strange. Hang on, let me fix the Uzi quickly. Weapon Uzi. Let's make it shoot like a lot faster, like 20 or something. It's not meant to be a bubble shoot. It just looks like it. This is incorrect right now. This was our drawing. It's very fancy, isn't it? So if you're shooting, is this really correct? Weapon.lastfired bullet position.x. Transform.position in this case is the character. This looks correct to me. Oh, we're only flipping based on moving left. But that's not correct, right? I mean, I might add a bubble launcher. There was one in Cave Story, right? Let me think. Flip. Flipping is only tied to moving left, right? I'm fairly certain about that. We're moving left, then we're flipping. We're moving left, we're flipping it. Oh, I wanted it to be if you're shooting left and you're not moving, of course. If you're moving left, or you're not moving right, and you're shooting left. So that should fix that one little thing. So if you're moving left, oh fuck, I'm doing this. Do you add player velocity to bullets? I believe so. How do you not have a complete game this exact moment? I could call this a complete game. Would it be fun? You could play this. All right, that's incorrect. Oh my god, look at these! Look at this fucking Uzi go. Look at it go! Wowzers, trousers! Absolutely insane bullet gameplay. Okay, so she seems to be looking behind her when she's shooting. It's not quite correct. And also the animation is reversing incorrectly. Hang on, let's fix a few things. You've confused me. I think we need to have another state in here, maybe. Moving to the right and shooting to the... Moving to the left and shooting to the left. We shouldn't be reversing it. You think the Uzi is slightly too broken? The game is not even remotely balanced. There's nothing to worry about. Don't worry. There's the state of whether you're shooting or not. Yeah. Yeah. If you're moving left, we want to flip it. We don't want to reverse it. Well, this is the case that we are shooting. Inside here means we have a gun and we're shooting, okay? I just think maybe this is incorrect, actually, somehow. Bullet last fired position, if it's less than our current position, but if we're moving, does that mean that our X is the other, it's like over the top of it? Does that make sense? It shouldn't make sense, because the bullet should always be firing quite a bit out to the left, so never mind. We're moving left, or... So this should be the case that we're either still or we're moving to the right. That case being, if you're shooting to the left, we should flip it. Otherwise, it should shoot to the right and it shouldn't flip. Which, this makes sense to me. This is on Twitch. Yeah, I'm multi-streaming. So you can basically choose how many viewers. I don't know, chat. Can you... Everyone on Twitch, post a something. I don't know. We want to reverse the animation if you're moving left and you're shooting right. Or you're moving to the right and shooting left. This makes complete sense to me, so I'm kind of confused as to why it's not working. It only makes sense if something's flipped. So I think I've screwed up quite badly somewhere, and I'm maybe a little stupid, and maybe programming at 11 PM is a terrible idea. No. Why? Clearly the flip thing is inverted. So let's think about that. Man, the Minecraft music's so fucking good. Sorry for, like, you all having to sit here and watch me work out some probably really trivial Boolean logic. Well, if we're moving left and we're shooting to the right, then we don't want to flip it. Yeah, they want you to have a parentheses. Yeah. This... Oh, actually, maybe this is fun. Love the bubble shooter. I'll add a bubble shooter at some point then, just for you. But this is just plain incorrect, right? This is plain incorrect. You have no clue what's wrong, you're not paying attention, don't worry then. Am I losing my mind on this shooting left thing? If the weapon is X is less than RX, that means the bullet's on the left. Right? And if you're moving to the right... Oh fuck, this is inverted. Previous position .x is larger than... Position .x. No, this is correct, because this means that we were to the right-hand side of our left. Yeah, that's correct. Maybe I'm very stupid, chat. I'm so sorry. It doesn't kill the enemies, it just makes them clean. Oh my god. Don't give me more work to do, dude. That's a great idea. Super Mario, dude. Definitely inverted. Is it? Fuck, you're right. No, it is. My gut is always fucking right. I should stop questioning it. When my gut says eat that piece of cake, just eat the piece of cake. All right, now she's moonwalking. she's moonwalking. Okay, this is correct. Whatever this is, moving to the right and shooting to the left is correct. It's so bad. I'm so sorry. It's just not flipping correctly. Oh, are you sure, Dana? If moving left, flip is true. I don't know. I think... Wait, I'm so confused now. Moving right, less position. No, this was correct. Right. Hang on a moment. There's a position. Here's a position. This is position. This is previous. You're moving left if your previous is larger than your pause. Fuck, I am stupid. Hang on. Yeah, this is totally flipped. But then... Hang on, if your bullet was fired... If your bullet is fired from here, and your position is on the right, then you're shooting left if your bullet position is left than your position. Which is correct. This is correct, right? Reverse the animation if the looking position is inverted. Moving right is position.x larger than... I mean, flipping it might make a little bit more sense. I need to find some new music to listen to. How about... I don't know. Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Go on then. Yeah, let's maybe use better terminology to under-confuse us a little bit. I'm kind of concerned that you guys are all as confused as me. I thought maybe I was, like, losing it. But it makes me feel better knowing that you guys are also struggling at least a little bit. So we're shooting left. Oh, fuck, hang on, I'm changing the wrong thing. Good lord. Oh, it's Pokemon. The song I just put on. We're moving right if we're moving to the right. We're moving left if we're moving to the left. We're shooting left if our bullet is to the left of us, and we're shooting to the right if our bullet is to the right of us. Fine, right? That looks correct. Maybe the guy look wherever the gun is looking. Yeah, but I want the problem is that I want to reverse the animation if you're walking backwards. And that bit is the hard bit. It's the reverse animation. If I just want to flip it, that's pretty trivial, I thought. Yeah, because then in that case, it's just flip. In this case, you're shooting, so it's actually shooting left. Hang on. Hang on a moment. Hang on. Maybe you're really smart, actually. Okay, she's running the wrong way. But then when she's shooting, she's looking the wrong way as well. Why am I like this? Moving left is flipped. I'm right, but hang on. Sprite sheet. Robot girl. Yeah, she looks to the right, so you flip it when she's going left. Am I losing my mind? Am I losing it? Am I losing my mind? You move left if your position is less than your previous position, so it should flip it. Am I losing it? Maybe I'm losing it, guys. I'm so sorry. When you're not shooting, it should be based on where you're walking. So you're moving to the right. I don't want it to invert. I might be losing it. Yeah, so when you're not shooting, I want it to be looking exactly where you're running to. And when you're shooting and running to the right, I'm expecting your animation to reverse, but you should be looking to where you're shooting. Oh my word. You only want to backpedal when you're shooting. That's basically the idea, right? If that makes sense. Like, normally she's running around and she's running forwards. But I want her to, if she's shooting, she wants to look at where she's shooting. But if she's running or backwards, I want to reverse it. If shooting, face gun. If moving away from gun, reverse animation. Hang on a moment. If moving away from gun... I'm really confused as to why this flip thing isn't doing what I'm expecting it to do. If you're moving to the right, don't flip it. Make an if statement if you're shooting and when you're not. That's this. This in here means you are shooting. This section in here means you are shooting. If you want, I can even extract this. Const auto is shooting equals this. Maybe that helps. Look. So if we're not shooting and we're moving to the left, don't flip it. If we're moving to the right, don't flip it. Why this isn't working, I am losing my gourd. Perhaps the flipping at context was always inverted. Hang on, how am I using this sprite.flip? Maybe this is incorrect. If you are flipping it, bugger. I'm the problem. Chat, I was the problem all along. I was the problem. I'm so sorry. I'm the problem. It's not you, it's me. I'm the problem. When I was flipping it, I was drawing it correctly. I was drawing it. I was only flipping if... Oh, God. Oh, Lord almighty. All right. I think I fixed it. Oh, I'm so stupid. Good fucking Lord. Look, so now she's not shooting. She's running at the camera, whatever. Oh, God. I'm so stupid. Oh, Lord. When she's running forwards and shooting, she's not reversed. See? Looks like she's running forwards. Okay, up and down was a little funny there. But look, if she's running backwards, see, the animation gets reversed, so it looks like she's backpedaling. And likewise, if she's shooting to the left, I fixed it. I fixed it. Well, I fixed it. I'm the world's best programmer, and you should all take advice from me. What happened? So this line here, this is the function that I'm using to flip the sprite. This is correct. This means if the sprite should be flipped, then reverse it on the x-axis. If it shouldn't be flipped, then draw it properly. What I had before was the opposite. I had it so if it was flipped, draw it normally, and if it's not flipped, draw it flipped. So I had flipped the flip. You know, I flipped it. I flipped. It's all flipped. Everything's flipped. It works. Whatever I've got here, banging. What the flip? There you go, chat. It's all working. It's perfect. This is the correct logic. Yep. That's it. You know what? I can even extract this up here. Like this. Actually, no, I don't want to change the animation thing if it's still whatever. Can you make the font bigger on VS Code? You can, but it kind of makes it harder for me to do my thing. Are you watching on like your phone or something? I normally program like this. All the way out here. No. This is a little annoying, but I can do it for a little bit maybe. Name the game What the Flip. I'm not doing this. This was a minor bug. I'm so sorry this took so long to fix. I fixed it, look. Enemies aim their guns at you. Make enemies aim their guns at... Hang on, I can already do that. Let me think for just a second. Bro, I'm on mobile. It might be difficult in general for you to... I don't know, how many of you guys are watching on mobile? I'm zoomed in. Can you read this? It might be a tricky thing to watch on mobile. I was going to say, I've already got this angle for weapons last being shot at, right? Maybe I can use that. You're on mobile. Can you read it normally? Because this is how I prefer it. Are you able to zoom in on mobile? You're watching on mobile. Okay. It's barely visible. Even if I zoom in like this, yeah, guessing you can see this. This makes it really hard to get any work done. do you have a... If you pull your phone really, really hard, does it get... does it become a tablet? Like if you stretch it out? If you get like a rolling pin in the kitchen and just sort of put the phone down and flatten it a bit, does it become larger? No. I just zoom. I usually do all my work in this little section here anyway. It depends on the stream quality. Yeah, if you're watching on a low resolution, it might not render properly. Weapon data. We have this last fired bullet position here. What I was thinking we could do... This is a Vec 2, right? If instead of pointing at their target, I just to experiment, I say target position equals their last fired position. What's wrong? You a Vec 2. You are. Okay, well you can just become a Vec 3. That's okay. What's wrong, little guy? You want me to make you a 0? Okay. Still small. You're in 720 feet this whole time. Okay. It's good that you can't read the horrors this code base contains. Are you able to read the Twitch chat? Let's see. So that the enemies are now actually... I thought firing at where their last bullet was, but that's clearly not working. I think last fired position is only working for the player, I suppose. Okay, well that's okay. I think I don't care. I think I don't care for now. We'll do that another time. Feel isolated. Look, I'll post a smiley face in chat for you. See, I'm here. Is the screen not also smaller because you have the chat window open? Or does the chat window just take up like this right-hand side of the screen? You can read in zoomed out mode if you put your phone 2 inches from your eyeball. Do you want me to zoom in like once? Because I kind of hate this, but if it makes it easy for you, I can do it, I guess. This is what it means to be a streamer. Is this what you signed up for? This looks painful. No, not at all. I'm just making a mess of things. Okay, let's check the to-do. Blah, 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 blah. Weapon swap. We can quickly work on that, right? So right now, chat, you have a look at this. If it'll let me launch the game. You'll notice that I have an Uzi equipped, and there's this thing on the right, maybe you can see it, where I can flick between 1 and 2, but it doesn't actually do anything. There's no weapon switching, so we can maybe fix that. There's a few ways we could do it. What we could have is a component that holds on to weapons. So something as simple as, where's our weapons? Weapon type. Weapon. This is how you get yourself in the YouTube recommended, by just saying the word weapon over and over again. They love that at YouTube HQ. Weapon holder, I don't know. And then maybe let's say it can hold some arbitrary array of weapon. Some weapon. Let's just say it's size 2 for now. Do you want to write? You know what? We can even... I think a vector by default... Oh, sorry, an STD vector of a weapon. Let me think for a moment. We call this weapons. This should be size 0 by default, right? And then if we add 1 weapon, it's 1, and then we add 2, it doubles, it becomes 2. Inventory. Yeah, I might want to reuse it on enemies there. Maybe inventory makes sense. Maybe I'll put other stuff in the inventory. Hello, Dr. Cheap Whiskey. You're learning C++ in uni, and you can never get yourself to like any of it. You like C, but C++ makes you never want to program again. What did you enjoy about C in particular? Did you like the simplicity, or C++ is dense. There is a lot to learn. That's true. I like that you can get quite into the weeds with it. But also the legacy stuff does take a bit of a pain to get used to. Some interesting code you've never had to write. You can confidently say it's super easy until it's not. Ideally, my code base should... I mean, there's a few places where it's a bit shit, but for the most part, it should be pretty easy to understand. Like, if I show you my... Well, these are my components. This is what the game's made up of, right? At basic level, we have some weapon types. There's some enums, nice and easy. We have a collision structure that has a radius. We have a sprite that has various sprite information, like animation time, scale, origin. Variations on animation. We have some empty structs, like player, enemy, that just act as tags, basically. We have movement input, it's got force, speed, movement, this stuff's pretty simple. If we go to the movement component, for example, the movement system, all it is one loop. Every single tick, it goes over every entity that has a movement. It does some very basic calculations to work out the speed they're moving at and how much we should modify it. If they're holding shift, for example, you modify a little bit less. We make them stop moving if they're sort of approaching 0. I think that's what this should be. Minimum speed 1, yeah. Do some force calculations, and then the whole code base is built like this. There's loads of systems for every component. There's a physics system. This has the collision calculations and stuff. This should probably be extracted, mind you. Respawn system. This one's really easy for everyone that's respawning. Check their timer. If it's finished, then respawn them. There's nothing horribly complex. The horrible complex stuff is, this sort of thing, like working out the right way to convert between screen space and world space, and that stuff just took a few hours of streaming to get over. You like the control, but CPP has you thinking more about the syntax than the actual program. I will be honest that it does get better with time. You do just memorize the syntax, but even then, I do still occasionally, not so uncommonly run into a problem where I don't remember the actual way you're meant to write this thing in C++. Like, I know what to write, but there's some weird nonsense with syntax. I just have to look it up. But that's my inexperience with that part of the language, right? It's such a big language, there's a lot to learn. I mean, it's all stuff that just gets better with time, right? If I'm Python to be too easy, so CPP and Rust was a nice change of pace. Depends what you're doing. Just writing a little script, Python's perfect. I imagine if you wanted to do something a bit more complex, the Python script for that might start getting very long and very wordy, and then the C++ syntax for it might be a lot shorter. It really depends what your use is. I'm talking out my bum, by the way. Let's go to components quickly before I forget what I'm actually doing. We've got an inventory. An inventory holds onto weapons. What I'm going to say is... I'm going to have a empty type of weapon somewhere. How would I do that? How would I... Is it sensible to have a struct... no weapon? That seems kind of stupid to me. Sorry, I'm just overthinking a little bit. I was thinking that I could, instead of having a vector, I could have an std array of entities or of weapons, for example, which of size 2. I don't know what this default initializes to, though. It's just some nonsense. I was thinking, I could have a struct called no weapon, which is a weapon, and then you default initialize that to no weapon, whatever the syntax is for that nonsense. And then you check to see if they have a weapon equipped or not, based on if the entity, if the weapon in there is a no weapon or not. But maybe this is reaching silly time. Alternatively, instead of storing a weapon, you could store onto an entity. Lua is a scripting language. It's quite common if you're writing mods for games. I could also hold on to an entity and default it to entity null, which sort of does a similar thing, and then I simply construct a weapon. But then again, my weapon is actually just a component. It isn't an entity at all, so that's stupid. Never mind. STD optional? Yeah, STD optional might be sensible. I use STD optional all the time, actually. Let's go with that. How is no weapon a weapon? Because it's a weapon. That makes sense. No? No? Maybe not. Is there... Can you construct with STD optional and then, like, is there, like, a... empty? Or something? No. Maybe just the default constructor. It defaults to empty. Do I have to do this syntax to default initialize the thing within? I'm guessing so. Whatever, this does the job. So by default, you're going to have two weapons, and that's all I'm going to care about for now. A single thing works. Oh yeah, this won't end up... Oh, actually, no, because it's an array. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, we have an inventory of 2 weapons, and what I'm going to say when we are in the entity factory, and we have the spawn character, instead of giving it directly a predicted firing weapon, that is this stuff. Now, actually, this will break some stuff. Because currently we're checking if the entity has a predicted firing weapon on it, not if it has an inventory. So this might complicate some things. Oh, it's annoying. I think enemies having multiple weapons could make sense if you say that enemies' attack patterns are weapons. Like if an enemy has a... If you're fighting like a big scorpion or something, I've got nuclear thrown on the brain. If you're fighting like a big scorpion and he uses his pinchers, that's one weapon. If you're fighting the big scorpion and he stings you with his big tail, that's like another weapon. And if he spits like fire at you, that's like a third weapon. Right? So maybe enemies having weapons kind of makes sense. It's only initialized if the thing has no constructors and you don't do blah. Okay, but I guess STD optional does have a default constructor. Alright, we're going to have to do a little rejigging. Instead of checking entities directly to see if they have a weapon, we're going to check to see if entities have an inventory. And that size 3 thing, why would a scorpion spit fire? Because we're making a video game. We come up with the rules, and we can do whatever we want, and no one can tell us otherwise. Maybe making this a vector actually makes more sense in the case that enemies might want to have not many weapons, and I just have to maybe store somewhere that players only have 2. We have common. I just do const max weapons player. Just have a constant. Scorpion ain't doing that. You know, I felt so incompetent watching someone program before. How do you think I feel watching anyone else program? I've been watching so many indie game things. Not Const Expera. Ah, listen to this fucking man go. There's always someone better. We don't want this stuff. So instead of adding a predicted firing weapon, what I'm going to do is add inventory. So goodbye basic firing weapon. We want to add inventory, and we're going to add a inventory. The idea being that we're not going to add weapons directly to things, we're going to add inventories to things. If that makes sense? I think that makes sense. So we got an add inventory function now. Spawn character. Couldn't they be inline because they're in a header? Pardon? These? const expr vars? Oh, in common. Does inline in C++ literally just inline it for you? Like, does it tell? Isn't that a compiler optimization? I thought you normally don't need to do that. It just places the value there directly instead of referring to this value. Easiest way to repress Viligan is to use Vim. Inline has nothing to do with that. Okay. Thanks, Kotlin, for telling me something else for inline. My expression of inline const expo would be that wherever I'm calling max weapons player replaces it with a 2. It means the symbol gets deduplicated at link time, so you don't get ODR violations. I guess there was nowhere else I was using these names. It keeps it from having 2 versions. Okay, that's good to know. So it's just different to the other languages, but they use the same fucking label. Oh, C++. C++. That's good to know. Thanks. Good. The hardest part of C++ for you is you learning GitHub for your projects. GitHub is something you'll use at every job, unless they're hipster and they use Mercurial or something. It's very good to know. One of the most annoying things you could do as a junior is, like, if you're working on a project that's, like, maybe at a startup and they haven't set up guardrails, is trying to, like, merge shit to main that's broken, and then just, like, leaving a merge conflict live. So knowing how to resolve that shit properly and then properly use feature branches is a must. Yes, I'm doing everything on main on my own project. What are you talking about? Don't look at it. Don't worry about it. It's hard about GitHub. And maybe not GitHub itself, but maybe he means Git in general. Because Git and GitHub both have the same word Git in it. Git is like the Linus Torvalds Linux program or whatever, and maybe not. They made it. It's not actually that old, right? Git's from like 2000s, right? Or late 90s? It's pretty new. Maybe 2007 or something? GitHub is much newer. That's like 2010s, I thought. I don't know if you guys remember, like, does anyone still use SourceForge? SourceForge is like immediately sketchy. Why is the default download button on SourceForge like a fake download button from an advert? It's like bright green, it says download now or something. Doesn't look right. I just want to download this Minecraft mod. Make me feel sketchy doing it. Anyway, instead of add predicted firing weapon, I'm going to do add inventory. And we're going to spawn an inventory. And within there, we're going to say dot weapons equals this. And in here, we're going to say, come on, predicted firing weapon Uzi. And a revolver. Now, this syntax is a little wrong. Let's see. Let's build first. Predicted firing weapon I thought should have a weapon type. Let it build first. How many weapons do you have so far? We have 3. I guess I can't use this syntax. Actually, ideally, I'd manage to do optional weapons. You can't store subtypes like that, by the way. Oh, C++. You need to use STD variant or heap allocate them. Let's use an STD variant then. How would that work? STD optional... I guess it would be a variant around this. Right? Oh god, this is getting complicated. I guess I could just use a vector. Variant, by the way, chat. This is a very useful thing to know about variables and spans and stuff. Normally an array takes up some amount of space. But let's say you want to have 2 different types in your array. One of them is this big and one of them is this big. If you declare it your array as a variant, it basically like makes sure you can always fit the biggest one within. That's like the simplification of it. The variant could hold either of these 2 types, type top, type bottom, Basically the idea. Oh, you play OC. Yeah, I've not been playing it a ton very recently because I've been doing this. But I need to play it more. I need to play it more. My Yuka I like OC. I play a ton of it. I've streamed a lot of it too. No weapon to weapon base and use weapon equals STD. Okay, this is getting too much. Let's just have a fucking vector. We can do a little heap allocation. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing heap allocation. It feels weird. Don't like the heap. Heap's weird. STD vector has the same issue. Really? Ah, bloody C++. Alright, we'll just stick to arrays then. Phew. Alright. Rename weapon to weapon base and start using weapon equals STD variant. Okay, I think that's a pretty good idea. I failed to compute edits. It's because you can't compile, isn't it? I'm not gonna bother renaming it then. I'll rename it after it compiles. Then you can have the not weapon as the first variant alternative, and you don't have to use optional anymore. So no weapon is not a terrible idea. Namespace STD. Would not recommend using namespace STD in your projects. I would not recommend it. You're making anyone who consumes your header forced to use that. And also... for a second. There's a variety of headers that will have name collisions with it as well. I'm pretty sure the STD is like a huge... The standard library is quite big. How do you know if you specifically want to use something from STD or something else? It's nice to be explicit about where your functions are coming from. I think it's good practice to not use namespace STD. There's probably somewhere I've used it, by the way. Oh no, just chronoliterals. At your level, it's okay. At your level, I'd recommend trying to learn best practices as best as you can, because the earlier you learn it, the better, right? Because then you don't have to unlearn it later. It's like the sooner you start going to the gym, the better. Let me think for a second. I need to fix something. Let's just do this. Let's make it compile first, and then I can refactor. And then indeed, I think having weapons be a variant over the weapon subtypes is pretty fine. I don't know about having that weapon name like that though. Add predicted firing weapon. That'll be the enemy, I guess. Yep. I can just delete it. Alright, so it's compiling now. We want to go to our components. Let's see. Weapon base, I think, is a sensible name, because it is indeed the weapon base. We're not allowed to use this... Okay, F2 is broken again. Remember the other stream where I was complaining about F2? Okay, it works in there. You just can't use it on this. Okay. Yeah, you never want to use it directly, that's correct. F2. Why are you like this? Alright, well, whatever. Maybe I can just use some of this. Yeah. I think weapon base is fine. It's like that. Oh, by the way, if you aren't using a lot of this editor, this matches the whole word and this matches case, meaning that it only matches exactly this word weapon. It won't match with you know, weapon type, for example. Depending on the project compiling and client D's indexing be up to date. Tell me about it. Let's see. No weapon. I think no weapon actually does make a lot of sense. So let's say using weapon equals std variant, and then we want to have a variant over these. Now, you know what's cool? These structs are all empty. So this variant is actually the size of an empty struct, maybe. I don't know. Is that true? Could be. No weapon probably doesn't need to inherit from weapon base. Surely it does if I want it to, if I want to be able to pass a weapon base. Doesn't it? I guess, I mean, weapon base contains... maybe you could have something above weapon base called It's maybe a weapon. Could be a weapon. You know, like struct. Possibly a weapon. Not sure really. Maybe. Let's check. Something like that. That could make sense. Oh, whatever. Anyway, what's wrong STD variant? Oh, is it capital V? Did I misspell it? Sorry. Variant? Variant. No template named variant in STD. Is it not going to include it? Sorry, what is variant in this case? Donut variant? What is donut variant? You have to include it. It does have a custom variant you can use instead. Sorry, what is custom variant? What do you mean custom variant? Exceptions. Does it just have better? Oh, it just has some. It's almost the same API anyway. Were you originally writing this project on like C++ fucking 15 or something? It's STD variant but better. Not to diss you, but I feel like maybe I should get used to using the STD stuff, if that makes sense. Because this is something I should be using at work. If that makes sense. I'd like to get experience with that. I might actually be working on a project with SDL2. The same API, we added a couple functions. Yeah, but I don't want to do the thing that I keep doing with Swift where I'm like, oh yeah, but your version of string doesn't have a dot reverse. Yeah, if. I mean, that seems really useful actually. Checking if you're... Hang on a moment. What's your thing called? Variant. It just has like syntactic sugar over like, is it of this type? That's pretty handy. I mean, we have a custom variant type at work as well, I'll be honest. Alright, well, why not? You have to do holds alternative. Yeah, that fucking nonsense. Alright, fine, whatever. You convinced me by saying I'll do less work. I will prefix it with donut just to be clear. Let's say weapon is a variant over any type of weapon. Wowzers trousers. Can I put a comma here to make things happy? No, he's sad. Alright. Now, let me think. We have an inventory somewhere. Actually, I want you to be an array of size 2 of weapons. If you make no weapon the first alternative, it becomes the default constructed one. Oh, that's handy to know. Now let's see. C++ standard forbids containers of non-object types because of container requirements. Sorry? Are you upset because you want me to default construct you? No weapon. Are you hiding me down a hole? Okay, no, this isn't correct. It's because your type alias has a thing at the end for some reason. What? Oh, shit, sorry. Yeah. Did I mention it's 11 o'clock? Nah, maybe not. Let's chill. Alright, let's see. This is your brain on, like, 24-hour of being awake. You just sometimes find parentheses in places you weren't expecting them. You feel like a slight tickle? Oh shit, I dropped my brackets. That's all. Alright, look. We got an array of weapons. It's a variant. That means, ba-bum, our weapon thing contains all these different weapons inside. They could be of varying size. They're not. They're all empty structs. But our lovely weapon here could be any of these. We don't know until we look within. And we look within, and we're like, oh, weapon. It's a predicted firing weapon. Wowzers trousers. And this shit, this STD array, this should be going on the fucking stack, right? It should be going on that stack. Lovely. No heap fragmentation today, buddy. Unless as a treat. Maybe a little heat fragmentation. Right. Anyway, we'll be going wherever the inventory is going. No, no, no! It's going on. It's going on the heap. No, not the heap. Oh, all right. Anyway, bam. So predicted firing weapon. Tell me about this. Tell me about what you're up to. I thought I could construct you because you're a weapon base and you have a weapon type. Just you can't do that. You can't. You really can't do that. Is it because it's a struct, right? This shit should be public. It should be more than allowed. An array of weapons. I mean, you aren't a weapon base, so I guess there's no validation that whatever is inside there is a But then again, that shouldn't matter because I'm constructing a predicted firing weapon. Hang on a moment. Hold your horses for just a second. Advanced auto Uzi equals. This shouldn't be necessary, right? Do predicted firing weapon. We say Uzi. Oh, it's const. Uzi dot. Come back here, game. I'm not done with you. Oh, you're angry at me, are you? A likely story. I bet you'll compile just fine. You won't. Okay. Missing it. Oh, of course. Weapon predicted. Oh yeah. Maybe. I'm just wondering why this won't let me define the thing within, because this was working just fine before. It seems weird to me. Why can I not access the weapon type anymore? You're missing the initializer for one of them. Sorry? Predicted firing weapon inherits from weapon base. It's a struct. It has a public member variable called weapon type. Now this variant contains many of these things. And this is not a weapon base. That shouldn't matter. I'm constructing a weapon. Cooldown bullet fires need weapon, but I didn't used to need these. These were not necessary before. I was able to just create one of those from scratch. I don't know about that one. Maybe it's just a What's wrong? Something's wrong. You give warnings which are treated as errors. Now this shouldn't be necessary. Why can I not use... Maybe it's not generating a default constructor for some reason. How should you learn C++? I'd start with some simple online tutorials. If you're at school or uni, you could take classes on it. You can't use designated initializers if it has a base class. You what? Really? Do I have to make it? I have to just make my own constructor then. That's not so bad. Is that all? I just go into weapon base and I just make a and just make it so you have to pass in a weapon type. Since it's the base class itself you're initializing, you can probably do predicted with double curly braces. Really? Double fucking brackets? You've learned Python. This fucking language, what on earth? What on earth? Imagine the inner braces as the weapon base, and then you construct the predicted firing weapon using that. I understand the idea, but this wasn't necessary before. I guess I was constructing... No, I'm confused. Hang on a moment. In my old thing, we were just adding predicted... Oh, it does add predicted firing weapon. Did that take a weapon in the thing? Where did it go? Oh, it just took a weapon. Okay, so we were previously constructing it with a weapon, and we were... Yeah, okay, never mind. That makes sense. It's just insane. Sorry, I missed your comment. Let me have a look in a second. This fucking language, dude. That's not easier to read. That's easier. Let's see. You've learned Python pretty thoroughly, but you're having trouble with C++ because the syntax is funky. They're very different languages. If you've already got your head around Python, I'd recommend trying to recreate some of your easier Python projects in C++, because then you don't have to think about logic so much as syntax. Like, let's say in Python you've written something that tells you if a word is a... what's the word? You feed in a string, and if it's the same reversed, then it's a... What is race car? Palindrome. Let's say you have like a Python script to tell you if a string is a palindrome. You know, you just check to see if it's the same as the reverse, right? Simple. You could start with just writing a little C++ program to do that, and then that gets you the real basics in. Reading in and input, output, string manipulation, basic stuff. And then just build up from there. Sorry, I'm also losing track of what I'm talking about. Add inventory. When we are spawning an enemy... Now, enemies are going to have a... revolver. You don't need the equals. Right? Oh, that's correct. That's nice. How did you learn the language? So, I did C++ at university first. I had a module on it. And we didn't learn that much. When I came to my last year project, I decided to make a game in C++ to learn more about it. Which you can watch. I uploaded that ages ago. Procedural golf. This thing. So I made this 7 years ago. And then I used exclusively on this project for a few years. Because this project started about 4 or 5, maybe 5 years ago. And then about a year and a half ago, I switched to doing C++ development at work from mobile development. So there's been bits and pieces. I'm still learning, obviously. You know, I'm missing some stuff like this. Double brackets. I wasn't even thinking about that. You'd think the compiler would know, you know, but whatever. Whatever. I probably don't even need the dot weapon type thing, right? It should probably be able to work out. Okay, it does need it. What other languages do you know? Well, I started off with Java, Python. Very, very long time ago, I did Game Maker language when I was like a kid. If you go on my YouTube channel and sort by oldest, I uploaded some Game Maker videos like 15 years ago. I guess I was a teenager. But professionally, I did Kotlin and Swift for a very long time, and Java, I guess. So Swift, Kotlin, Java, C++, and then I've used Python here and there for a little bit. So, you know, I've dabbled in web development. We've all fucked around in JavaScript and HTML and CSS and all that stuff. SQL I use quite a lot. Programming language, maybe not, but syntax, it does stuff. I don't know. I've had a career. I'm having a career. I shouldn't say I've had a career. It's still going. I was talking to a colleague who's very on the AI trend, and he says that the current way development seems to be going is something called spec-driven development, where we're basically going back to waterfall. So people are just going to spend like weeks and weeks writing extremely solid specs and then just letting the robot go crazy. And I had my concerns about this, namely like when I've tried to use it and it can't get the most basic things right. But he seems happy with that, so kudos, I guess. Maybe that's the future. How sad. I don't want to write fucking documents. Don't make me write documents. I want to do this shit. Aye. Oh well. So we have an inventory, we have an Uzi, we have a revolver. Let me think for a second. This should have broken everything, and I'm kind of curious to see how much it broke everything. I shouldn't have a gun on me, I shouldn't be able to shoot. Enemies shouldn't have guns, and they shouldn't be able to shoot. Indeed. Look. But it still works, because the code base is solid. It's just nothing's got a weapon on it. Isn't that cool? How would you win this game? There's no winning yet. There's no loop. There's no gameplay. We're implementing the basic engine components. Like we're implementing like an inventory right now. But there's no win condition. All that stuff comes much later. You got to start with the basics, right? So let me think. Anywhere we are using, let's look for basic weapon. This is my source control. Basic firing weapon. Let's see. Enemy system. Oh, bugger. Hang on a moment. So previously we were doing enemy system. Enemy system. Previously we were iterating over these sets based on what kind of weapon they had. Now, I guess, we're looking for every enemy with an inventory. Which actually, maybe it simplifies things. Although, it doesn't exclude weapon disable. Oh no, that's okay, because weapon disabled is actually on the entity itself. Okay, hang on, how about this? For every enemy with an inventory. And then, for, well, it's not weapon, is it? It's inventory. For weapon in, oh well, let's say const auto weapon in inventory. Now we probably want this to be a fucking reference. What's wrong, little guy? No viable begin. Oh, inventory dot weapons. And we're gonna say if the weapon, because this is a variant, right? We should be able to say if weapon dot is what was it called? No weapon? So if it's not a no weapon, or even we could even switch over. Can we do a switch over what it is? This might be a little annoying. If you're going with this approach, maybe you don't even need the variant with distinct types. Maybe it can just be an enum. Not fucking Viking chap. Oh my god. Yeah, maybe. Maybe an enum makes sense at this point. Because previously, To give you a bit more context, chat that's new, this game used to be like a bullet hell, so weapons were really tied to like characters and enemies. You know, a scorpion enemy would shoot scorpion bullets, a snake player would shoot snake bullets. There was no such thing as a weapon that you equip or change. So you had a component saying how you'd aim, which is this basic predicted or homing. Homing we still haven't implemented yet, that's funny. Hey, the syntax a bit nicer. Yeah, STD visit. Yeah. But now I think we could just tie the aim type to the weapon itself. Yeah. I think that's okay. Okay, hang on a moment. Let me think for just a second. We already have that enum, right? Somewhere? And Pokemon music's so silly. Aim type. Alright, so we should have an aim type on our weapon. God, this thing's gonna get... I'm gonna be put on like the YouTube blacklist for how much I'm saying weapon. Weapon base. Yes, makes sense. And then we rename weapon base back to weapon, which we will construct. Alright, here we go. So we have a weapon. Do you think C++ is hard to learn? I want to say I think it's as hard to learn as any language. Because at the end of the day, if it depends on your use case. If you just want to write some basic program, you can write it as easy as any other one. So obviously it's a little bit more complicated than Python just because there is legacy syntax, there's stuff that Python doesn't deal with, like semicolons and all that, but I mean that's trivial, right? But mastering it is really hard. I think if you ever speak to someone who says they've mastered C++, they're lying and you can't trust them. It's expert friendly, yeah. It's a good language to be deep into because there is a lot of depth. It's a big swimming pool, and if you want to dive deep, you can go down really far. And if someone's claimed to have reached the bottom, and they understand all the water in that pool, who do you think they are? Maybe they poke the bottom, but then they're not going to be able to tell you what every drop of water in that pool is doing. Whereas maybe Python's a little shallower. You can just sort of dip your toes in a bit easier. And there's some deeper sections, certainly, but it doesn't get quite as convoluted as well. C++ has so much legacy, it's nuts. There's so much stuff that's just the way it is because it has to be backwards compatible with C. That's some simple stuff. You see I'm using this curly brace syntax to initialize. This is a C++ thing, and you can still initialize stuff like, with an equals and whatnot. There's so many ways to initialize variables in this language, which is already weird, right? So just knowing which way to initialize an integer is correct, like that's weird, right? That there's even a correct or a preferred way to initialize something. Like that's weird, right? That's weird, I think. Let me think, sorry. Entity factory. There's a lot of ways to do it and only a couple are correct. Yeah. This is something, by the way, I even started giving a shit about like a month ago. It's crazy. I was not. I was not thinking about this stuff. It'd be cool if they had a strict C++ mode. I mean, like with no backwards compatibility. The problem is, like all of these like C++ projects, to like replace it never really work. There's too many legacy programs written in C++ for people to switch to a different language. Sorry, am I missing something? Oh, there's no such thing as a predicted firing weapon. I'm dumb. I'm so fucking dumb. I literally just renamed it. Like this second. You're gonna complain that they're back to front. They just call it profiles. Strip mode. Are you complaining because you want to be the other way around? Because I could be down to clown with that. Your standard array of weapons. You're a weapon. You're a weapon. You have a weapon times an aim type. Like, I get it. You want to be the other way around. Like, let's chill. I'm chill with that. But you gotta be chill with me as well, you know? Like, we gotta work together on this. Oh, it's because you got double brackets. Double brackets. Get rid of the double brackets, obviously. We all saw that one, right? What's wrong, little fella? Oh, of course, this is the like, this sort of shit is nonsense, let's be real. It's explicit, sure. But fuck me, is this not a pain in the bum? Yeah, I got it, don't worry. I got it, don't worry. That's inventory. If you ever want to feel stupid, stream yourself coding C++. Doesn't matter how many years you've been a developer, you will miss the most basic thing. But everyone else will notice it. By the way, I've noticed how like far this project has come. I ended up making a playlist because someone asked. There's a playlist on the second channel with all the old VODs, and I added to it the like rebuild. It's all on the old VODs. And then I also made a playlist on the current channel. You just skim through. Like, oh my god, this project's like, this is like hundreds and hundreds of hours of programming. It's insane. And there's obviously off-stream work as well, but like, we've come so far. I'd say in only 5 years. In only 5 years, this project's gone through so much. Including being completely restarted. Anyway, alright, this is fun. We're gonna look for anywhere that has a... God, I love Gen 2 music. Enemy system... So, let me think. For every... Here we go. Here we go. For every weapon, switch... Oh, I don't need to do a switch. Handle weapon, aim type. Weapon dot aim type. In fact, in handle weapon, I don't even need that. Get rid of that. Okay, weapon base has not been changed in a few places. We need to fix that. Oh, weird. What's wrong, little guy? Out not handled in Switch. Yeah, that's okay. This is super random. I saw your stream. You've studied software engineering for 3 years and you feel like you still don't know anything. Do you have any tips? Doing old exams, are there better ways? You still don't know anything. Do you have any tips? What do you mean by you still don't know anything? Because you can't have done 3 years and not know anything, right? Hello, Mario. Are you? Where are you on the Dunning-Kruger chart? On like the expertise and like perceived expertise, where like at the start you kind of very quickly think you're really smart and then you drop off really quick. You think you're here or here? I think doing old exams is a really good idea. When I was preparing for my exams in university, the best revision I could do was doing old tests and seeing what they're testing you on. And that's because my goal was to pass the tests. You know, if you do old exams and it says you kind of see a pattern in them, then you just study for those patterns and you have a pretty good chance of getting through. But if you're feeling like you're struggling after 3 years, it's going to be a case of doing projects, doing the work, starting to do a bit of programming. What do you feel like you don't know? That's I suppose the hard question. Why did I type like this? I'm sorry, in your syntax for your language, you've been toying with... you've been thinking of treating new lines, commas, and semicolons as the same and treating new lines as an implicit comma, with the exception of empty lines. I don't know how to read that, Donut. I don't understand what you mean. You feel like you know the basics. You can make a class. You can check ifs and elses. You know floats, and the difference between a float and a double, and so on. In the chart, you feel before the big up. You're frightened by AI, so you tend to neglect or stop doing C++ since it feels worthless. I think that's an introspective question. You need to answer if you care to learn. It's quite a complicated subject, programming. If you're worried about AI replacing software engineering job, that's a very valid worry. But what is your current goal? If you want to graduate with your degree that you've done 3 years on, that is to do with programming, then it doesn't necessarily matter what you think is going to happen in 10 years. You should just buckle down and get it done now. It's always valuable to have a software engineering degree, even if software engineering becomes invalid because it's an academic subject. It's good. It's good to finish your degree and be intelligent. You know? There's nothing worthless about trying in a difficult subject and learning and pushing yourself. Anyway, I think in a more realistic scenario, even if AI becomes particularly intelligent, I hope to God that they wouldn't just let people vibe code at their job without checking and understanding it. If you go to a job interview and they ask you how many bytes are in a 16-bit int, and you say, what is a 16-bit int, you're not going to get the job. I imagine the people who are at work using AI all the time, the current developers that are senior doing that already had a field in software engineering and can at least validate the output of the machine. So it's very valuable knowing how to software engineer. When you say you feel like you don't know anything, you need to decide where you want to stop knowing. Right? Like, if your degree only needs you to know this much knowledge, then just memorize that much knowledge and move on with what you feel is a valid use of your time. If your vibe code is happening a lot, but they'll be feeling the pain. For now, I mean, I'm not here to speculate about the future. I enjoy software engineering. I don't like writing specs that much. I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's its own puzzle, but I enjoy this nonsense I'm doing now, which is why I'm doing it as a hobby at midnight after work. So I'm a bad example, because I strongly dislike AI and stuff. But I imagine in like a decade, if the bubble hasn't burst, it'll do a good enough job, and most companies think good enough is good enough, right? If it breaks horribly, then that's fine. They can hire a consultant to fix it, but it's still cheaper than having a whole dev team. That's possibly what could happen. What could also happen is the EU could step in and regulate it and say that it's not allowed, but we're a bit slow for that, I think. The goal is to finish it and learn even the smallest things. Is that fear? Yeah, it's hard, but your question... But the question you gave for the job interview, where do you learn your syntax words? You're not sure what it's called, but you tend to struggle with that. How do I say this? You're already looking up past exams, right? And are you completing them? You're not just looking at them, like you're doing them as if you're doing the exam. Because that should teach you an awful lot. And if you're unsure about job interviews and whatnot, you can look up sample job interviews. You can look up what people expect from you. There's plenty of pages. I remember there being a pretty good GitHub one where it was like common job interview questions. And whether or not they're real, it doesn't really matter, because they're usually going to be a good groundwork. What's the game about? It's like a 2D bullet hell shooter, fast-paced thing. Sorry, Donut. Making any semicolons and commas at the end of lines unnecessary. Imagine C++, but whenever you see blah blah blah, just replace it with blah blah. I'd have to see an example syntax. I'm sorry, Donut. I can't picture right now. It's too late. What am I doing? I'm sorry. I'm losing track. I keep getting distracted by myself. There's all sorts of places where we're iterating over weapon, right? And that should be the stuff that's breaking right now. Let's have a look. Oh, that's a good question. I guess inventory should probably have a current equipped weapon, right? Components. Weapons, and we're going to say UN8T selected weapon equals 0. So right now, that's going to be a empty weapon. So maybe this should go back to being a should there be an aim weapon type no weapon, or should this just be a standard optional? Like maybe weapon type empty makes sense. Because I mean obviously we're still then wasting space on all this nonsense. But then we'd have to deal with STD optional syntax. I don't know. Because we could obviously do STD optional, and then anywhere we're iterating over, we check to see if it's not null. Syntax is with an S, by the way, but that might help with googling. Int is not called int, but integer is what you mean. You know, the syntax is not the words linguistically. That is more of an English thing, yeah. I mean, these are not programming words. Things like floating point number, integer, these are just mathematical words. Obviously, they're related to computer science heavily, especially floating point these days. But, you know, float is not a C++ word. It's not a Java word. It's just a concept meaning a floating point number. Maybe what you're asking is when you're writing your Java or whatever, you don't necessarily understand what you're writing, because the solution to that is when you see something you don't understand, you read the documentation, open a web page or a reference page, and just check it. And every time you forget, check it again, and eventually you'll learn. You're basically just doing flashcards. So they come with time, as with all things, buddy. The more you do it correctly, the better you get. It's the same with learning a language. You know, you want to learn French. Pretty common to just memorize some things by using flashcards, right? In school, maybe if you were learning languages, they would have like a chart on the wall with all the colors in French or German or whatever. And by looking at it over and over again, eventually you memorize the chart, and you can just do a lookup in your head, and you're like, oh yeah, road, red, rouge, whatever. And it's the same with all this nonsense on the screen. What is an array? Check it up. Check the documentation. Read it. Oh, I forgot what an array is. Check the documentation. When you ask me to make something and you can't put it into code, but you can read and write, you don't get words into code. I know what you mean. I mean, that simply is just, you need to practice coding. That's all. If you can read and write, and you can describe your algorithm with plain English, then that's an excellent start. Because if you're in, for example, in a job interview, or if you're in a difficult problem, you might not start with writing syntax. You might start with just describing what you want your algorithm to do in English. I've done that in this stream plenty of times, where I'll describe what I want something to do in plain English before I actually do it. So that's fine. Just translating words into code is just learning how to program, and you do that by doing lots and lots of projects. I am kind of wondering how you've done 3 years of study and not... Or do you feel like you haven't remembered much from them? Do you not get, like, coursework and stuff you need to do? Yeah, no worries. Yeah, describing out loud is a way to tell yourself what you're making. Yeah, I mean, describing what you're doing is always smart, right? If there's a thing called rubber duck programming, where you get a little rubber duck on your desk, like one of the ones that you have in the bath, a rubber duck, and you talk to it. You explain what your function does to the rubber duck. And often you'll find problems, because as you're explaining, you'll notice, oh, that doesn't sound right, and you'll check it, and you'll discover a problem. You don't literally have to have a rubber duck, and you don't actually have to be talking, but the concept of explaining to discover is good to remember, I guess. You don't remember how much it bundles down to remembering for exam and then forgetting. I will be honest that the best advice I could give you now is if you want to learn, just do. Go pick up a project, go pick up some coursework, do some homework, do the exam, and just keep doing it. You won't You won't learn if you don't do. If you want to get fit, you go to the gym. Just knowing the gym exists, you're not going to start getting big muscles. You got to go there. You got to lift some weights. You got to take a rest. And you got to go back the next day. You got to go back the next day. Take a rest. Go back the next day. Eat lots of protein. Go back the next day. If you're struggling with forgetting, and you're a student, check your habits. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating properly? Are you in brain fog because you're eating junk food every day and you're sleeping 20 hours or 2 hours? Take care of yourself first as well. I don't know what you're doing, but when I was a student, I was drinking an awful lot. That definitely didn't help. You talk to yourself, skipping the dark. I'm talking to you lot. That's how I'm remembering all this nonsense, apparently. Let's see. For every blah blah blah, if shooting equals... Here we go, look. In the animation system, we're no longer checking if shooting is only on predicted weapons. We can check for any weapon. Sorry, inventory. Oh, this is actually a little annoying. Well... Is shooting as if weapon disabled? Yeah, maybe sort of weapon disabled, we should have a, is shooting thing on the weapon, you know? The weapon disabled thing kind of made sense before, when we were using this component, the way that we were using it, but I'm thinking maybe it doesn't make sense anymore. Health-wise, you're good. You gave me good advice. Yeah. I mean, it's just always look after yourself first, I suppose. It's normal advice. Thank you. The game looks great considering you said you don't use AI. It's just a lot of work. Like this is not an evening of programming. This is like hundreds and hundreds of hours over years and years. And lots of mistakes. Lots and lots of mistakes. None of the code you see here is how I wrote it originally. Everything's been rewritten to hell. Because I always learn a better way of doing something. Don't expect perfection, huh? Is shooting. Really, this should be getting tied to bullets to fire, but let's just go with this. Okay, let's just be simple. Try get inventory. Let's simplify this a little bit. Let's say 3 equals try getting inventory. If inventory weapons at selected inventory plus. Okay, we're going to be doing this a lot, so I think we should just extract this to a function and just call it get weapon. Get selected weapon. Because I know we're going to be using this a lot. That's easy enough. We don't need to extract that, I think that's fine. Can I just do this on a one-liner? Am I using this weapon elsewhere? Oh, I am. Okay, this one-liner isn't... Something like this. Weapon's kind of big, so maybe it returned by reference. Yeah, that's a smart idea. Let's see. This or has value. Go with that. Did you consider using C#? Why C++? I wanted to learn more C++, so I picked it. That's all. That's really the reason. I just wanted to get better, so I chose it and went with it. Nothing fancier than that. Optional supports conversion to bool just like pointers. Yeah, I know, but it just looked weird to me. Like just weapon. This feels odd. Are you gonna stop using optional? Yeah, but how do I? Did you have no weapon? I don't have no weapon. We got rid of no weapon. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think this is just perfectly fine. I was thinking about having a weapon type of no weapon, but I think intuitively, if the weapon is an optional null pointer, that makes more sense to me that they don't have a weapon. I think that's intuitive. It does require a little bit of syntax, that's true, but I think it's intuitive to me. The fact that it requires syntax makes it easier to avoid letting the player shoot an empty weapon, if that makes sense. If it was just a type, it's possible that I'd forget somewhere to check. So having this annoying syntax is kind of a good thing, if that makes sense. Add weapon disabled doesn't need to exist. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm so confused, but whatever. I'll stop this nonsense. One of you is open file, right? Or is that a plugin I have at work? No, it's not this. Okay, whatever. Putting a reference won't change anything if you're assigned to const auto anyway. You'd have to make it const auto reference. Oh, it decast. Okay, fine. I'll fix that in just a moment. Let me do this first. So immediately we're seeing a problem, right? In enemy, we're iterating over weapon twice. Fine, I guess I'll fix this. I'll fix this in a moment. Let's see. Const auto weapon equals. You can buy a doggo or a big doggo now. What do you recommend? You can give everything for a small chance to get both or get none. That's up to you, DFO. I think the emote only lasts for a day, so I'd wait until I'm maybe starting a new stream before you use it. I'm not going to be streaming this all night. I'd recommend holding on to your woolhee coins for now. Const auto weapon equals registry dot Not even try get, because it should have a weapon. But fine. Inventory. Actually, it should be an inventory. Get the inventory of the entity. And then const auto weapon equals inventory.get selected weapon. And we can say if, and this should be a reference. I know. So if they're shooting tar pit, weapon dot is shooting equals true. Now you're const, aren't you? Fine. Now I don't know how you feel about being const. And then similarly down here, I want to put shooting to true. Oh, sorry, this should be shooting as false, because you were shooting. That makes sense. Budget Doggo will do. Yeah, they only last a day. I don't know if I can make them cheaper. What happens in here? It can be const because it's just a pointer. Yeah, okay, that makes. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Try get just returns the const pointer. I'm not really doing anything with that. Whatever. You just want to be inside one of these, huh? Is that what you want? Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess I can put the break inside the bracket. Maybe that's okay. It's just a scoping tool anyway. And then you as well. C++ switches are a little weird, aren't they? Just fine. Use another language. They're weird. Auto pointer const. Yeah, that would be smart. I should start doing that. Now, what's wrong? This should be okay, I thought. Auto ref. Is it because there's this enemy thing in the middle? Do you want to go at the end, maybe? Hello? I remember there being some nonsense with entity in this stuff. Hang on a moment, I'm just going to comment you out for just a second and see if that's... You're just feeling a little better now. He's feeling way better. Let's see, so we want to view a inventory. This should be the exact same problem, right? So if you have an inventory, still has weapon disabled. Ah, good catch. I forgot I got rid of that. If weapon and weapon dot is shooting. So by the way, we're seeing some of that code duplication I talked about before, where the enemy system and the weapon system and the player and stuff, they all have sort of duplicated code. Weirdly. Handle weapon. I think that's correct. So we should refactor this stuff, certainly. Oh, you want to be a weapon ref. In this case, you are a const weapon ref. That wasn't the problem. Pointer to weapon. In this case, weapon is a auto ref, so you want to dereference it and get the weapon itself, is it? That's correct. Good chat. Oh. Okay. Let me think. So this again, code duplication nonsense, huh? Const auto. What is it? Const? No, it's not const. Auto weapon. Oh, whoops. Equals inventory dot get selected weapon. If weapon. Well, if not weapon, continue. Close. Is it overloaded for optional to do the same thing as value, but unsafely without checking throwing it empty? Oh. Can you start fucking around with space you shouldn't be? So what we can say is weapon dot is shooting equals this. So we could certainly start changing this stuff. I think maybe the characters, enemies and players should maybe have like a trigger finger component, and then the trigger finger is the thing that's being held. But I'm starting to talk nonsense, aren't I? Hey, you should be one of these. Gonna move this stuff to do. Notes from player, weapon, action, responder, system. Is this the weird syntax? Is this where you can use some strange syntax to get around this, right? I remember there being like a syntactic sugar for this. Is it just using ref? Deref? Weapon? Oh, arrow. Yeah, that's it. Sorry for my C-ass programming. Famous for pointers, yeah. I should keep Discord open in case Chris is finished gaming at some point. She's still in league. Alright, looking good. To do, deduplicate. I should add that into the to do. Big to do, deduplicate the weapon firing logic from player and enemy. Okay. Because maybe target should be something that's a component. I don't know. Target could be the crosshair. I don't know. Okay. Next problem. Yeah. So, still don't really like this section, but let's say if there is an inventory, an inventory exists, and inventory dot get selected weapon returns true, I guess. Const auto did weapon equals inventory dot. Kind of annoying to do this twice, but it's probably a better way. Is disabled is not needed. Weapon. I guess I could just call you weapon. And then is disabled is if not weapon is shooting. Well, it's not disabled, so it's just is shooting. And then maybe the rest of you might be happy. Okay. That's good. So we no longer have this. I should just search for this. Okay, I should delete it like this. Practice. I'll miss you, weapon disabled component. You were based. Let's just say const auto weapon just to make sure. Okay, inventory dot. Oh, maybe I'm already using the rest breath everywhere. Okay. So for every weapon, maybe we shouldn't be handling all weapons at once in the weapons system. I guess we should be doing is only handling the current weapon for now until we start having weapons in the background. But that's not an issue for now. We could have selected weapons be an array as well, you know, just saying which weapons you've selected. Inventory dot select weapon. Now, do you need me to dereference you, little guy? Because it looks like you're getting ref. You saw it in one place in the results. Oh yeah. I'll have a look in a moment. Hang on. Oh. Okay. Inventory. Auto ref at inventory.weapons. Weapon? No. Auto weapon? These are not weapons. This is weapon data. Oh, you. Yeah, good catch. This is the first one. Nice work. Not that it's a hugely expensive thing, but yeah, we're not modifying it either. Okay. Well, whatever. Let's see. Oh, it's building. Okay. Let's see. Did firing entity factory. You. What is this nonsense? Crash? Oh, it's not crashing. Hey, the enemy's shooting me. And I'm shooting. Wow. And now, it looks like the concept of us having an inventory is working, right? So, let me think for just a second. In the action responder system, when we are scroll wheeling, local player.selected weapon, well, instead of having this selected weapon thing in the local player, how about we get rid of that? Let's see where breaks. It's obviously going to break here. Let's see, are we getting the weapons somewhere? Move this in here. I'm going to keep this code here, by the way, just because the concept of maybe being able to zoom in the future will be handy, and I'd like to keep the code line around. And the weapon player needs to have a weapon. Well, it doesn't have to have the selected weapon, though. Let's see. Scroll value isn't equal to 0. Local player dot... not even local player, it's going to be inventory dot selected weapon is either going to be 0 or 1. That's lazy. Now, is this continue thing correct? Kind of is. But I kind of hate this style of coding, so I'm just going to wrap all of you. Obviously, this should be in its own little function, but This is a reminder that I'm going to extract this to something sensible, because it's sharing with the enemy right now. Good chunk of it is, at least. Okay, let's see, it's failed. Where are you failing? Unable to write. Resource busy. That's a new one. Ah, here we go. Selected weapon. So, I think we're getting the inventory in here anywhere, right? Alright. So we have a local player industry with one of these. So, if there's an inventory and it's not null, and you can be const, I guess. I'm going to say if inventory selected weapon is 1. Bit of a weird way to do this. Obviously there'll be a cleaner solution, but for now this does the job just fine. You want to be an arrow, don't you? So, look, you can change guns. There's obviously no sprite for it yet, but isn't that cool? Now, you want to know something nice? The weapon doesn't reload in the background because the weapon system only ticks the reload while it's equipped, which works exactly as it does in Nuclear Throne, which is what I want. I want you to have to switch to something to reload it. Stuff reloading in the background should be like a strong upgrade, because trigger fingers in Nuclear Throne is a fucking insane upgrade. Like, reloading your gun when you kill something in a game where there's 20,000 enemies on the screen is insane. So yeah, look, I shoot this, and then I switch off of it. I hold down click, and then switch back to it. It still doesn't shoot for like another second. But now I've fully reloaded it. I just realized I could put the weapon reloading on the HUD. Or on the player, maybe. Is that useful? I don't know. Yours is abusable by switching and you're not changing it. I mean, Nuclear Throne has it abusable because if there's a gun on the floor and you pick it up, its reload is 0. So you can find a gun on the floor and just spam shoot, pick up, shoot, pick up, shoot, and you can shoot any weapon as fast as you want. Which is a great way to kill bosses, but it's a little jank. Hey, you fools, I played way too much of that game. I know all your tricks. Yeah. Alright, perfect. Now, we need to draw the guns to the screen. So, we're drawing those, and then on top of those, we're going to draw whatever the gun's sprite is. Same position, just for now. Let's say if inventory dot weapons 0. Let's say const auto reference weapon 1. Is that what I called it? Gun 1, gun 2? Yeah, let's call it gun 1. Well, I'll call it. What do you call this stuff? Gun 1, gun 2? Oh no, I didn't. Okay. So if there's a gun 1, then we're going to draw the gun. And likewise, if there's a gun 2, the position will obviously be a little bit off, but that's okay. If I go to actor system, and actor, and then get the weapon sprite. Sprite in this case is weapon data.animation. Hello, Ned. Are you doing Ludum Dare? I'm not doing Ludum Dare. I'm sorry. I've never done a game jam. Was someone in chat was doing it? I don't remember who. I like the smiley face. If you're determined to press 2 buttons to fire 0.4 seconds sooner, then be it. I mean, in my game, there'll be guns that take like 2 seconds to reload, and you definitely don't want people firing those as fast as they can. Let's actually get sprite ID. Because this is the only place this is being used for now, and I just want to reuse it. Something like this. This one-liner I'm okay with, just because I'm packing him up and taking him home with me. You should be gun 1. Or are you a dot in this case? What is gun 1? It's a reference, so it should be like this. Woho weapon doesn't have a weapon data? Weapon type. Oh, it's a different component. Hang on a moment. I need to think. I need to get the data type. Blah, 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 blah. Weapon data. This thing. Maybe there should be a little handler for this somewhere. I feel like I'll be doing this quite a lot. Gun 1. Well, I mean, this is only in the scope here, so how about this? Weapon, sprite ID equals blah, 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 blah. And then sprite ID is this thing. Obviously, we can see how we could extract this stuff. Rectangle instance. I think this is incorrect. And actor system. You should be a sprite instance. Yeah, that's correct. So, we want to draw this sprite at this position. And size. I think we can actually just get away without all this stuff. Angle. I mean, we might need to adjust some of this stuff. I don't know. Let's just see how it looks first. I'm thinking the origin should be the top left, right? Could even tint it gray if it's not selected. It's interesting. Oh, it's this song. Alright. These obviously these are the same, so these should be extracted to a function. But let's just see if it works first. Let's see. Hey, look, bottom right. See that? So let's move those along a bit. Position, let's have you drawing, let's say, at 16 across. See how that looks. You also did a game jam at Wargaming's office. You were the first team to present. Your game was running for 5 minutes before it started. And the pastime broke all the NPCs, had to restart. Sad. That's upsetting. Did you enjoy it? I've genuinely, I think I've never done a game jam. It's definitely something I should be doing as an engineer. That's such a big jump. Let's do 24. Yeah, looks alright. Not perfect. It's a little hard to see the gun, I'll be honest. But it is central. I think it should be a little bit more left, so let's say, I don't know, 20. I'm fiddling. This stuff doesn't truly matter. But I think if we ever add like ammo and stuff, it should be useful to have that space on the side. Yeah, this looks fine. There, I got the gun on the screen now. Isn't that cool? So theoretically, we could have it so you can pick up a gun off the floor or something. Or drop your gun or throw it or something, I don't know. And it would update in the HUD accordingly. It's all as simple as constructing a weapon with its type. Everything else is just magically done for you. When I say magically, I mean I made it work. You had a fun experience not sleeping, eating junk food, and not caring the last couple hours. That does sound like fun. I mean, people do coding like jams and stuff, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be game jams. I always hear about from devs when they got to do that sort of thing at work. I've never had the opportunity. Right, anyway, let's think. Could the weapon be something? The weapon you would equip be in the HUD on the bottom right? Should it be on the screen? So I feel like having as much free on the screen as possible is a good thing. But I was talking before about how maybe I'd move the health onto the screen to make it more obvious. I don't know. Anyway, I was also having a thought that as a weapon is reloading, it can show in the HUD, because I did like how it worked in Nuclear Throne, where you could just flick your eyes over to it and you could see if it was reloading just based on like a bar. So I'm thinking... first of all, let me extract this to a function quickly. Should this be called? If the weapon exists, let's just say even just be a lambda, like a dot view inventory dot weapons dot. Hang on, isn't there like a traversal algorithm? Dot all. There was something. What is it? Array view. What did you call it? Span? There's a way to do something on every element of an array, right? I forget how it works in this language. Like, you want to map, basically, in Kotlin. Span. How does it work? Span. Am I using a span somewhere? What do you want to do? I was just thinking, A, good practice, use a span. B, here I have an array, fixed size array of weapons, which could be optional. And with that, I would like to optionally do the thing in this. This is duplicated code between these two, excluding this. So ideally, I'd also have like an iterator or something. I mean, I could just extract it to a function too, you know? Basically, the only input would be weapon and like the additional Y offset or position. You can just do a normal range 4, I guess. I mean, I can just do this. It's a little janky maybe, but you get the idea. I mean, yeah, it works. I don't know if it looks good to you. If weapon, yeah, we're not currently checking that. Oops. You get the idea. Let me think. We got this stuff here. This could all be in that loop, couldn't it? Yeah, maybe. Hang on, let me think for a second. I'm not gonna do this. I'm stupid, I'm so sorry. Oh, actually, yeah, whatever. Weapons dot size. Oh, you don't like this? Use a range break for loop. No, I'm doing this on purpose. I'm going to say I wanted to put this stuff in there, basically. You get me? Should rename this to gun 1 background. Gun 2 background. I'm just fucking around, by the way. It's late. Don't pay any attention to what I'm doing. I really am just fucking around. Oh, it's a lambda capture list. Never mind. I want you to be an SCD array of what are you, a sprite? This is what I wrote, right? Are you not an array? Oh, you're not. You're a standard share pointer to a texture. Think? No. Can you not have a standard array of shared pointers? Class template argument deduction. Oh, without this thing, we just do std array like that. And instead of the equals, I guess we do this. Oh, we do the equals? We can't just do an inline construction? I guess I can do equals. The equals you had was fine. Okay. Interesting. Was I drawing the same background in both places? That's not right. Anyway, it's a Y offset. Oops. I guess I could make this const. You like the plus equals better? Yeah? You can change the array size and it still works. I guess it draws off screen in that case though. You know? I guess... I don't know. Go with that, I guess. This will throw an error if I ever decide to change that. Unsigned sign mismatch. Oh, you'd be a size T, I guess. Wait, hang on, size? Long. Yeah. Why am I even defining it? I should just be using auto ref, right? Oh, they're not temporary, because you'd have to store the... You know what I mean. You'd have to store it. What's wrong, little guy? You just don't like it? Oh, okay, you actually do have to say size T. That's interesting. Zero deduces to in. Interesting. Yeah, look, it works now in a little loop. It's just a little neater. What's wrong? Why are you still having that mismatch error? Sorry. I is a size T. Long. This... What? It should be fine when it's size T. Why is it still giving me a compiler error? Well, it's not. Okay, I don't know why it was being weird. I was going to say, as the weapon, if there's a weapon... we should have a... cooldown. Right? Between the weapon's shooting interval. Yeah. Cooldown divided by the shooting interval. Something like that. I think. Reload. Well, it's not reload time. It'll be like reload percent. Not really percent. Reload progress. Maybe we did this and then multiplied it by 100. I guess. It would be percent. Is that correct? Shooting interval will be a number like 10, and cooldown will be a timer. I thought. Does that work? I was thinking of I guess you'll be const. And then I guess for now it can be something like that. I guess this is reload ratio, maybe. Call this cycling rather than reloading. Let's say if you're shooting a gun really slow and it takes a big shot between, I feel like it's, as a player, I'd say reloading. Things don't usually change magazines. Yeah, this game's not gonna have magazines, I think. But like this says sniper rifle shoots once every 5 seconds. You can just pretend the player's reloading. Let's not get down in the fucking dirt with this. Let's pretend you're reloading one shot at a time and you're just an absolute beast, okay? Do you have an ability to clip stuff? Like, does size clip for me? It doesn't stretch it, does it? I'm guessing that's texture scale, right? So if I do size is... size 2D by reload bar width. I mean, it could be explicit and say X, but I think this is implicitly done. But let's be explicit, I suppose. And then we say dot tint color equals color Alice blue. Why not? Will this draw a Alice blue version of the thing? Holy shit. That's not it. Wow. I mean, it's certainly doing something. Yeah, it's not it, is it? X and Y, I'm immediately got that wrong. Reload bar width is the X, so thanks for that, me. You can shift the position and shift texture offset in the opposite direction to get clipping. You don't just have like a way to clip it. Like if I have a circle that's 32 by 32 and I want to draw it as 16 by 32 as a half moon. Yeah, this is clearly not working. I got some division off. I guess it's the size minus this, right? Use a scissor rectangle on the viewport to do clipping. You don't remember if this version supports that. It's not quite right, is it? Interesting. So this is the width, big width. From that, we are removing size divided by reload progress. Is it the other way around? I didn't think that would be the case. The reload progress is 0.5, let's say. Divided by point... Oh, maybe. The texture do not repeat. Whatever I've just done broke something. This Alice Blue thing was a pretty stupid idea. Let's go with red. That's not working. Yeah, I think it is the other way. So there's one thing I might work with texture options. Okay. Ah, function overloading. UC guys wouldn't get it. Maybe you would. I don't know. You get default parameter. You can have default parameters. That's Soda Scuff. What's the syntax in this blasted place? Just that? Fine. How very modern. How very modern. It has to only be in the header. How old-fashioned. How old-fashioned. Oh, the default argument, that is. How modern, how modern. Are you selling me a fucking lemon donut, the Viking chap? You have asset manager there. Oh, you're right. No lemons here. Amongst all the green text, you were able to find the true one. I should specify before you start giving advice. My plan was to have the background like this. And I was going to have the reload animation play as such over the top. Whatever. Pretend this is filled. They keep fucking with MS Paint. I don't know why they keep changing it. So, ready to shoot. Just shot. Ready to shoot. Just shot. Ready to shoot. Pachong. 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 You get it? Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, see what I was talking about with the weapon reloading thing. Alright, I've got something wrong here though. The reload progress should be the cooldown divided by shooting interval, right? Shooting interval is like 25 or something, right? Now say it's 50. Say shooting interval is 50. And then weapon cooldown is in a countdown loop. The cooldown should be going down until it reaches the shooting interval. We've got a number between 50 and 0 in this example. It should be the other way then, right? Big number divided by little number. That's a good start. Rubber duck typing, dude. Yeah, 0 then means that the cooldown is fine, right? Okay, it's going the wrong way. That's fine. This is a bit more like it. So indeed, I think if we make the width this minus whatever that is, maybe? Yeah, that's correct. And now we just need to shift it instead. So, position is, hang on a moment. Keep the width constant. Yeah, I get that. I did, yeah, I get that. Position is... we want it to shift to the right. We have one shifting one way and one shifting the other way, right? This should be... I'm going to call this texture progress. And I'm actually going to rename that to texture width. Texture width? No. Texture X? That makes sense. Cutoff. Cutoff X. Maybe. Or progress X. X. Texture offset is normalized between 0 to 1. Oh, that's kind of a pain. So reload bar width in this case should be max X position. So let's say const auto default position equals this, and then we want to calculate an offset. So position is going to be Y is not changing. Well, in this case, it's actually the same as that. This used to be sides. So this should be calibrated on their own, can't deduce a vector if you pass through the plus. Yeah, I know. You need to use 0.f and stuff. That's not doing anything quite yet. What was it? Texture offset. And then texture offset needs to be, it needs to go the other way. So maybe it's simply this stuff, which is x minus progress x. Sorry that it's got a stupid name, but you know. What is it? Well, it's that. By plugging in reload progress already 0 to 1. Yeah, I guess so. Is it? Divided by 25 is 0.5. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Right, the position thing's not working. I'm guessing this max X position thing is incorrect. Probably. I set this to 0.f temporarily. That should draw it as in the buggy way we saw it before. I mean, it should slide around just because the texture offset will change. It's not. Okay, that's weird. I was expecting something else. I think you are expecting this to be .x multiplied by reload progress. Am I? Oh wait, hang on. I guess that makes sense. If reload progress is a between 0 and 1. Yeah, this division doesn't make sense then. So we actually want this. Progress X is then, this is how far to the right we are. And the max position is that minus that, right? Then the X would be that, and the offset would be that. Does that make sense? Why is it not drawing? Hang on, instead of color black, is there... I wish I could have different tinting directions. Not pink. They're drawing somewhere. No. This is weird. Am I overlapping it? This should just be drawing something, right? Do you have to specify a size, maybe? That could make sense. We just got rid of the size after all. I know I'm not using max exposition. I was just trying to work out why it wasn't drawing. I think it's because we didn't have the size in there. It's still not drawing. Size defaults to 1 pixel. Couldn't it default to the size of the sprite you've passed in? Why is this not drawing? Hang on a moment. I guess this texture offset thing is just not quite correct yet. The tinting it pink is not quite doing what I wanted it to do. Takes scale, not size. Texture instance does that. Interesting. So this is the total width minus the amount of progress. That doesn't seem correct. Does it? I feel like this is back to front. Doesn't this mean it will move to the right? Oh no, that's correct. Why is it like this? I guess it doesn't clip, does it? We cool down. Wait, cool down divided by interval. I just flipped it. Yeah, no, I was right earlier. Hang on. Sorry, I second guessed myself. The music stopped. Hang on. Okay, well now it's going the wrong way. It is going. Max exposition equals progress x. Yeah, I was looking at this now. Progress x is actually a number between 0 and the width of that bar. And the more complete it is, the more to the right it is. Are you sure about that? I guess I can just try it. Keeping in mind I want it to get smaller towards the left. I want it to be attached to the left. It's not quite it. Maybe that is it. And then the problem here is just that I'm using some weird sprite. Yeah, if I were to replace this with an actual rectangle, it would kind of make sense. That being said, I would rather it just didn't draw if the progress was 0. So maybe it's... Hang on, am I losing my mind? Oh god, the enemies can find me because of my pathfinding algorithm. What do I want? 1 minus. You know, this still isn't correct, because I'm not expecting this kind of animation. I'm kind of expecting it to be clipped, you know? 1 minus cooldown divided by interval. Okay. And I guess this is correct bid mass. Let's just go the other way now. So really, the position would, like the texture might look whatever, like this, and like you'd see, or blue or whatever, and you'd see like essentially like a line like this. Like it would follow the texture. Back to the old max X position. Okay, we can try that. Texture offset is not currently being used, by the way. I try and bring that back, because the reload progress thing didn't seem to be working. This looks exactly the same as it did earlier. So now maybe we just need to bring the texture offset in. Use minus progress X. Oh, hang on, we've got something going. It looks like it's being unfurled. Funny looking. Minus progress X. Instead of this. Okay. Okay, we're nearly there. Maybe? No, this actually looks quite a bit worse. Quite right. Hang on a moment. So we have reload progress is... Why is it 1 minus this thing? Why do we want that? Weapon cooldown divided by shooting interval means that if we have a cooldown of 25 out of 50, then we get 25. 25 divided by 50 is 0.5. 1 minus 0.5, still 0.5. If we have 33 divided by 50, 0.6. 1 minus 0.66 is 0.34. Meaning you've done a third of your reload. I don't know if that's intuitive. Does this not make more sense as a ratio? So if you're this far through, you're 90% of your reload. So if you have your big number is 50. Sorry, let's say you've got 5 divided by 50. 0.1. Yeah, no, this made more sense without the -1 thing, I think, right? Because then that's how close. It's less progress. Cooldown is 0 by default. When you shoot it, it goes up to shoot interval, goes talking back to 0. You have to translate to whatever behavior you want on the bar. Yeah, so maybe progress X is progress towards the left. So if you've just shot it and cooldown is equal to shooting interval, then the progress is all the way to the right. Progress remaining. Maybe calling it that makes it a little easier. Call it reload progress remaining, right? This makes sense to me. Now if I rename progress X to something less stupid. This is max X position to draw to, or like extra width. Reload texture width, like visible width. You know? Max X length, width. Makes sense to me. And then the position is at the billboard. It should be this still, I think. Or you could call it position of the right side. Like you could call it right edge. You know, right vertex. edge, vertex, edge, right, X. No? You know what I mean? Which is width. And then the offset, maybe that still makes sense. Oh, that's it. I did it. Yeah, that's it, I think. That makes sense, doesn't it? Maybe I should add a little smoothing to it somehow, but, you know. Even just like a little static in or something silly could do the job. Although that being said, should it be visible when you're not shooting? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I need to make walls work. Oh, why are you shooting me? You shouldn't know I exist. That's weird. This is that bug we saw before. Hang on, when we restart the level, are we not correctly setting enemies like current target or something? What's happening there? Are we not destroying all entities properly when we restart, maybe? What's going on? Try -1 F to 1 again. I mean, this is, I think, roughly what I want. I just want it to... I guess it's if you want it to be a bar that like builds up, down. Just try it. Oh, of course. -1 minus what? Sorry, 1 minus this. Cool. This will make it go to the right, I'm guessing, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes more sense, doesn't it? I don't know. Not quite what I wanted there. This does feel like this does feel like a cooldown bar in like a MOBA, right? It makes more sense. I just felt like counting down made sense in my head. I see what weapon you have to like another way. I mean, the black was just a temporary thing. I was gonna make it like a different shade, but in your current thing, I can't tint something white with like additive. There's only like this blending mode where white is draw every pixel as its intended color. There's no like I guess it'd be multiplicative. There's no multiply. I'd have to write a shade of multiply. Hello, Rambodu. How goes the game dev? It's going good, thank you. We've had a very successful little evening here. As you can see, we've got like weapons that you can weapon switching. You think one kind of minus looks better? Okay. I don't know. I guess I just envisioned it as being like a countdown thing. But anyway, yeah, we've got weapon switching implemented, so you can like switch between weapons. It shows up in the HUD. You actually have like wasn't this cool? Like this shit was all the concept art that I showed you like a few weeks ago, and now it's like part of the game that does something. Enemies now like aim their gun kind of at you. They look like visually they always shot you, but they point aggressively at you now. And the animations work properly as intended. So when you move left and right, it looks like you're running that way. But when you're shooting, you look where you're shooting and the animation plays properly. But if you're running backwards, it plays your animation in reverse, so it looks like you're backpedaling. Isn't that cool? 1 but add a special case for if 0 set as a 1. Yeah, I was thinking about that. That was my original envision. I can show you what that looks like. I think maybe this is what I was originally thinking of. Does fast switching choose the shooting cooldown? It doesn't. So the way the weapon system works now is it only ticks the weapon that you've currently equipped instead of all weapons. Obviously that could be changed. If, for example, I could tick over the current active weapon, and if your holstered weapon has a special reload when unequipped flag, I could tick over that as well. Yeah, you can see this revolver. I can like half shoot it and then switch off. I hold down left click and switch back. It doesn't shoot until that revolver shot is like fully loaded. Okay. So I think this is intuitive as a player. You can see your reload, and I'll say on a full screen game, like I've got it pretty full screen right now, that bar is pretty easy to see out the corner of your eye, at least for now. I think this is my envision, by the way. This is what I was thinking. I don't know how you guys feel. I think this is the image I had in mind, basically. Like it counts down as it's reloading, and then it comes back. And that instant like twitch makes it really obvious that your weapon's finished. Whereas like when it's just a bar counting up, it's a little hard to tell when it's reached the top. Obviously I could just change the color or something when it's reloaded. Or make it grey while it's reloading, so it's even more obvious. Because to me, like, who is reloading a revolver when it's holstered? I mean, the flare gun in TF2 reloads when it's holstered, that sort of thing. Like, if you had a gun, if you had like an energy gun that reloads with time purely, and you don't actually have to put like a new bullet in, that kind of makes sense, right? Like if it's a solar powered Casio calculator that you're shooting. Tell me why some of the mice are only holding their gun to the right. I have a feeling that it's not doing the check entity flag properly. Have I tried using Vim motions when you code? I don't know what that is. Would you like to explain to me what your Vim motions are? I also just realized that the offset shoots weirdly. The gun shouldn't be coming out, it should be going in. Should fix this. Because of the flick to reload. This is what I think. Like the flick, the ka-chung. Like there'll be a sound effect associated with this, right? You'd hear like a ka-chung or something. I kind of like the instantness of it, if that makes sense. Ching, ching. Obviously, I should extract that 2 thing somewhere. It's baked into the texture right now. It's also kind of hard to tell that it's like reloading because it's dark. That's without using a mouse. Nah, I'm happy using the mouse. I'm kind of a gamer, you see. I'm a bit of a gamer. We can try like different tint colors and stuff. I don't know. Gold. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you're peeing on your gun now. It's not really what I wanted. Maybe just grey. Grey. Grey? Oh! Thanks. Thanks for adding grey and grey donut. When I did a lot of work on a MacBook, I got pretty used to using keyboard shortcuts, just because the IDE Xcode fucking sucks. Mostly. Whenever you could learn a keyboard shortcut, that would be awesome. You save a lot of time. But you make it white, you can tint it whatever color you want. Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'll do that. I mean, okay. It's 1 AM. Maybe I'll do that another time. To do make menu, make background white so we can tint it, whatever. There you go. Phew. Glad I got that work done. Alright, well, it's 1 AM. I'm gonna head off. It's been a good 4 hours after my 8-hour workday of programming. It's just what we do here. Did you enjoy the stream today? Look at the awesome progress we made. You can choose weapons to shoot, and like you can see them reloading in the HUD and stuff. And like the enemies shoot you and stuff. And there's like an inventory system that's, you know, exists. I think that's like a really good progress. I fixed the animation thing again. That was nice. Still not really sure why sometimes the mice permanently have their gun facing to the right, but they still they like shoot you off screen. I don't get that, and I don't know how to recreate it. I've just seen it a few times. It's like there's some behavior is staying between refreshes. Maybe in the destructor for enemy, I need to manually clear that pointer. Or something. Maybe it's getting reused sometimes. It's like, look, all these mice are behaving normally. Yeah, this weapon strike better than the old ones. Yeah, I do too. I mean, it always needed a good refactor. I like this concept of having weapon inventories and stuff, right? It kind of makes sense to me. Look at him. They're all holding... I think if you shoot them off screen, they get, like, stuck. Like what they tell you happens if you make a silly face when you're a kid. You get stuck that way forever. Sometimes. Okay, I can't tell what the trigger was. You could see earlier, they were all doing it. I'm guessing that could have always been a bug, but I just wouldn't have noticed if I didn't have this rotation code in place. I don't know. I don't think it's tied to restarting. No, I think it's something to do with shooting them off screen. Look, this guy's got it. And he's clearly, like, targeting me. I think it's... He saw it on a first run once. I think it's a problem with, You should path over to me, right? Oh, look, I think his target entity is something else. I don't know what it is, but look, when I go behind the view, he should be moving towards me. And he's not. So I think something's going wrong with how it's checking its target. Yeah, look, he's got it too. They move randomly when they're shooting, but then when I put him into motion mode, he doesn't move. Yeah. Not really sure how this score's being calculated. But whatever. Alright, I'm going to end it there. I think that was a good stream. We'll be back another day with more programming. If I have a look at the to-do. This will be a big one for next time. I can be asked. The weapon firing stuff on enemy and player is pointlessly duplicated, so we can fix that. And then that'll also fix it so enemies shoot bullets from like the end of their gun, so that'll look a little better. Maybe we need to consider making enemies shoot a little slower so you can actually dodge them, you know? Just a thought. Maybe we can make it so enemies drop a weapon, like a rocket launcher, and then you can pick it up with E or something, and you get the idea. Going to build that rocket launcher. Maybe enemies should use basic firing instead of predicted, you know? Maybe instead of predicted basic whatever being tied to the weapon, it should be based on the person shooting it. That makes sense. Maybe it could be an upgrade. I don't know. Anyway, fix bug. Sometimes enemy loses target entity something and gun aims right, and they don't move to you when green. Making enemies like tint color when they change state was a smart idea. Alright, got this. What gun in hand we did. Okay. I'm gonna go to bed. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.